But, I really am just like you guys. Everybody's trying to touch me and grab my clothes and get me to kiss their baby or whatever it is. And you guys need to understand, it was just a short period of time ago that I sat in a meeting very similar to what you guys are sitting in. No translation? Don't worry, it'll come back. Which is Spanish? Spanish, no problemo. It'll come back, don't worry. But, it was just about, I guess, 17 years ago. I was 19. This was just shortly after my mom had passed away. And I really did not know what I was going to do for a living. I'd only had a 9th grade education in school. And for those of you who don't know the background that well, I worked in a drug rehabilitation center for about 3 years. And when I first went to go work there, I was 16. And I made $50 a month. And for that $50, they gave me room and board, gave me a place to sleep. And many of you met Michael Rosen, who developed our promotional catalog. He was my boss when I was 16 years old. And so he's known me since I was a little kid. And we used to raise money for this place so that other kids would have a chance to go to this facility and get off drugs and learn a new way of life and so on. And so what I did for 3 years was basically walk on the street and go into offices and ask people if they would be interested in helping children who had problems to make a new way of life for themselves. So basically all my life I've been in situations where I've predominantly been trying to help other kids basically like myself that didn't want to have to live the way I was brought up, that didn't want to have to live in the kind of neighborhood that I grew up in. I didn't have a great family life. My mom, I didn't even meet my real father till I was 21 years of age. And I was really into trying to see if not only I could change my life, but if I could help raise enough money for other kids to go to a place to correct themselves. So that's how I started that was my very first job. And by the way, he'll never tell you this, but Chris Pear, who runs our international department and has opened up all the countries, he and I used to work together when I was 16 also. We worked on the street together. I knew Chris Pear when he had hair down to the bottom of his back, right? Some of you know Mike Martin. He was on the fundraising situation with me too. And, we were just young kids trying to make it a better world for people to live in. We weren't making any money at the thing. And then after I left there when I was about 19, I got my very first what I would call a real job. And remember here, I didn't have any schooling background or anything, so there wasn't an opportunity for me really with my background or the people who were guiding me most of my life to ever really tell me as an individual that you could really go out and become somebody great in life. That had never, those circumstances had never happened to me. And I got a job at this clothing store. Actually, it was very interesting. It was only 2 blocks from where I ended up starting Herbalife International. And it was a place called Executive Tailored Clothes. And I was working there as a 19-year-old kid. This was just right after my mom had passed away. And I was working there selling clothes for about $1,200 a month. I worked as hard as I possibly knew how to work. And I got to tell you something, I had a great attitude back then. I had the same kind of personality I do today. You talk to the older guys that knew me when I was a 16-year-old kid. I was a nice kid. I had a nice personality. I wanted good things for myself and everybody else. But as hard as I was working, I couldn't make it better for me in those circumstances. And one of the reasons I'm telling you this was last night I got a telephone call when I came in at 2 o'clock. There was a note there for me. And one of the guys that I worked with in this clothing store gave me a phone call yesterday while we were in the meetings and so on. And I first talked to him about the Herbalife opportunity when we opened up our company. And think about this guy. Here was a guy who knew me when I was selling clothes and then knew me when we started the Herbalife opportunity. Just shortly after I was in the clothing business there, I had gotten invited to my very first meeting like this. It was not Herbalife. It was a company called Slender Now Products. And when I'd heard about a weight loss product and multi-level marketing, I'd never heard anything like this in my life. And as a matter of fact, the sponsor in that company, a guy by the name of Bud Bell, his assistant was here this weekend watching everything that went on this weekend. And she just couldn't believe what happened. And the first time in my life, someone told me you could become more. But the most important thing for me was I saw a product that I could help people lose weight with and that sort of thing so that they didn't have to suffer the way that my mom did. That company only lasted a very short period of time. It went bankrupt. I got involved in another company that had to do with weight loss. That company shortly went bankrupt. And I said, hey, and this was only when I was about 22 at that particular point. I said, what I'm going to do for the rest of my entire life is help people lose weight. I'd been with a couple of people who had gone down and out of business. And I said, listen, this is all I want to do is help people. And I'd been doing that even when I was a young kid at 16, raising money for people. But my main thrust in life was wanting to help people lose weight. And so you know the story from there. I got a hold of Dick Marconi. The reason I had known Dick Marconi is he was a manufacturer for one of those companies at one time. And I asked Dick, listen, this is what I want to do. Help me put together the product. And he put together the line of the Herbalife products for me, and I got the company started. But going back to why I told you this, the very first meeting I ever had in Herbalife, you guys have all heard about when I came in with a baggie full of powder, and I said, you guys aren't going to believe it. We're going to take this product around the world. One of the guys who sat in that very first meeting was a friend of mine who was back in this clothing store, and he told me, because he had seen me fail in the clothing business, he had seen the first company in weight loss I was in go bankrupt. He saw me in the second company I was in go bankrupt. Both of those companies, I'd gotten him involved in the business. And so consequently, when I started Herbalife, he said, no way in the world is this ever going to work. Hughes is going to be a failure. But I did get him on the product. And he lost 40 pounds in the next 8 months, and he kept bringing me referrals and kept bringing me referrals. And finally, he got himself in the business and got himself up to about $10,000 a month. At that point, he quit the company. This is about, I'd say maybe 12 years ago or something like this. Now, his downline is Dennis Dowdell, who makes about $300,000 a year. First line underneath that is Suzanne and Cody Morrow, who made about $400,000 last year, and Henry and Stanya Smeck, who made over $1 million last year. Now, this guy calls me last night. I haven't been able to talk to him yet. I called him back this morning, and he didn't answer the phone. What is the difference between a guy like him, who knows the story, saw it when it first got started, became successful, dropped out of the company, saw his downline become successful, heard about what's happened here in Orlando? He knew that we were coming, but he certainly didn't know we were going to take over the entire city, okay? And he's hearing about all this stuff. He's obviously getting phone called by every single person in his life telling him, you got to be out of your mind not doing the Herbalife business. What is the difference between him and the person that makes $1 million in Herbalife per year? Answer, and I want you to write this in your notes. Not much. That's the answer. The fact is Eric Nimmer's got all the talent in the world to become a millionaire in Herbalife. The reality is Eric has got everything in his life that's got the capability of going wherever he wants to go in life. And yet, he's still miserable with his circumstances. He's still miserable at the job he's working at. And he's still at the most opportune time in the company's history. If there was ever a time to get started, it'd be now. Forget about back 15 years ago. I mean, if you were ever getting going in this company, it would be now. And what's the difference between the person who makes it in Herbalife and the person who absolutely stays broke and in their same miserable circumstances that they can't stand, that they complain to their wives about, that they yak and slap their kids around because they hate their jobs and can't stand their miserable set of circumstances and don't even provide enough leadership for their children to get their children to be able to see a new way of life? What's the difference between that person and the person that doesn't make it? The answer is not much. And so what I'm trying to tell you here today is you guys got a couple of decisions when you leave this weekend. The only difference is acting on some of the information that you've heard. All it takes is to go forward, And those are daily decisions that you make. Getting the guts to put on that button every single morning and going out in there and talking to people. Going out there and putting out that flyer one more time. Hey, listen, can you guys make it if these other guys have made it, the people that you've been seeing the last couple of days? Seriously. But you know what the sad thing is? We'll probably be here in 95. And by the way, I've been saying 10 months and 9 months and 17 days is 10 months, 17 days. A slight little error there. That's Christmas, okay? You know, what's the difference between now and the next Christmas if this guy doesn't do anything different? His circumstances are going to be exactly the same in life unless he changes them. So, if you guys want things to change for you, you got to do something different. You got to be able to just put out those flyers each and every day. And it's just a little bit at a time that you got to do every single day. Hey, look, I didn't get to where we are here today other than facing the challenges that there are every single day and just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. There's not a meeting that you can come to. You learn lots of new ideas at these meetings. You learn lots of new techniques. You learn lots of new things that you can do. But when you boil it down, there's only a few things that all of us do. We use the products consistently. We keep talking to people. We wear some kind of buttons, whether it's our Herbalife button, whether it's one of our diamond pins, whether it's our World Team pin, or whatever, or it's one of the Herbalife sweaters, or whatever it is. We do something that gets us to talk to people, okay? Something, whatever it is that you do. Put out a flyer, whatever. And we talk to people, okay? But if you take those three things there, we promote the business, obviously. You guys have gotten some great stuff from these people here this weekend, and you'll get even more here tomorrow. But out of every single successful person that you've heard, and the ones that you're going to hear from tomorrow, what do they all have in common? Consistency. That's the one thing that they've got. They heard some new information, and they acted upon it. And that's the one thing that the guy that worked for me in the clothing store didn't have. And here's what's dangerous. Even after he got his checkup to Herbalife to 10 grand a month. Now that's insanity. Guy got his checkup to $10,000 a month. You know what happened to this guy? He got formal brain damage. And in my opinion, what's called the ultimate form of brain damage. He said, hey, listen, if I can make $10,000 a month in Herbalife, I bet I could start another business and I could make $20,000 a month. Somehow he got this brilliant idea that if he could make $10,000 a month here and it was working for him, why not start an entirely different business and go ahead and make another $10,000? Here's where he made a mistake. He wasn't a brilliant businessman. He didn't know how to manage money. He didn't know how to do that business. He wasn't counting on the fact he was going to have a lot of lawyers to get him in business, that he was going to have to manage employees, that he was going to have to do all the stuff it normally takes to run a company. And he had forgotten the fact that one of the reasons he was making $10,000 a month is he didn't have to manage employees, he didn't have to have lawyers, he didn't have to manage his inventory, he didn't have to do all the things it normally takes in business. All he had to keep doing was using the products, wearing a button, and talking to people. And doing that, he was making 10 grand. It never dawned on him. This is what's just mind-boggling to me. It never dawned on him that if he was making $10,000 a month using, wearing, and talking, that if he kept doing it, he could maybe make $20,000 a month. He thought he had to start another business to do it. And guess what ended up happening? He went bankrupt with that company. And over the next 3 years, his royalty override checks, not working, paid off his bankruptcy. And today he just places his $2,000 orders to get his $8,000 check every single month for the last 11 years. And you know what still has not dawned on him? That the way to get to $20,000 a month is not going out and selling boats like he's doing today in the worst time in the history of selling boats. it still hasn't dawned on him that if he just used the products, wore the button, and talked to people, that he could make 20 grand a month. Unbelievable. So what I'm trying to say to you, how many of you like to do better in life when you leave here? How many of you would like to live the good life and have really outrageous incomes? And whatever that means to you. For some of you, that means $5,000 a month. For some of you, that means $8,000. I'll tell you what an outrageous life means to most of you. If you could just double the amount of money that you're making right this moment, that would be fairly outrageous, wouldn't it? Right? How do you make double what you're making right now? By being consistent, by not getting sidetracked, by not letting people to get you off target, not listening to the negativity of any of your relatives, your distributors, or whatever. Don't let people get you off track. There's going to be a lot of people that try to get you off track when you leave this weekend. You're going to have people that make fun of you, and you're going to have it. Anybody ever made fun of any of you in this room here? What, are you out of your mind to wear that button? What are you guys, some kind of guru, what are you, some kind of button people? Hey? Right? And people say, what are you getting joined in some kind of cult? You walk in with your button on to one of your relatives. They go, what, did you join the Moonies? What's the deal over here? Hey? Yeah. Okay. I remember Alan Lorenz, he told us one of these deals. I love the story where his brother, who was very wealthy, said, listen, if you wear that button to lunch with me, Alan, you might as well dine alone. And he said, I think I shall. I can guarantee you one thing, when Alan Lorenz brings that $700,000 check home, his brother will call him up on the phone and say, Alan, would you like to go to lunch? So, hey, listen, there's going to be some things that get you off track. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some people that make some fun of you, but let me tell you what's worth it. All the people that make fun of you, even the people that you get on the products, it's when they call you back and say, hey, listen, I thought you were totally out of your mind when you had that button on and you stopped me in the shopping center and all this kind of stuff. I thought you were some kind of nut. But let me tell you something, man. I got onto those products, and it's only been 3 days, and I feel completely different. And then when they start losing 10 or 15 pounds, and all of a sudden their husband stops laughing at them and says, honey, I thought that stuff was pretty crazy you were drinking the other day and taking those tablets, but you're looking pretty good, baby. You know what I'm saying? And pretty soon it's 25 pounds and 50 pounds, and pretty soon the husband's using the product, and pretty soon the children are getting excited about how mommy's looking, because you know how the children are every time mommy goes on a diet. No, mommy, no, don't go on another diet again. Every single time you start losing weight, you get mean, cranky, and kick the little dog Muffy, right? And the family's losing weight, and pretty soon they're buying new clothes, and they're looking beautiful, and their attitudes are strong, and pretty soon the next door neighbors are trying the product, and pretty soon everybody on the block is doing it, and pretty soon everybody's wearing their buttons, and pretty soon you see the nice, beautiful family with the little stylish chubettes up on stage getting their president's team pin 10 months and 17 days from now. That's what it's about, okay? That's what it's truly about. We had a guy here over this weekend that was very interesting for me. And I've slowly kept recruiting people over the years that have just totally thought we were nuts, and you get them after a while. You tell them, hey, it's great, it's incredible, it's unbelievable. There's people I've told that to 900 times, and they still didn't get it. We finally got this guy. Anybody ever heard of Farrah Fawcett? Linda Evans, right? The Bionic Woman lady, all those people, right? There was one person that was behind all those people, this guy, Jay Bernstein. He was the one that made them. He was the one that promoted them. He was the one that got the hairstyles. He was the one that did everything, right? And for all these years, he's always heard about Herbalife. He's always heard that we're incredible. He's always heard that we're fantastic. And this is the first time he's ever been to Extravaganza. After 11 years, we've known this guy, right? And he just could not believe it. He was just absolutely 100% blown away. And it's always that way for everybody. Everybody who thinks it's crazy, everybody who thinks that it's just a joke, there's a couple of things that really get them excited. The first one is always what? Getting them on the products, okay? Now, we could never get this guy onto the products. I guarantee you after the last couple of days, he's definitely on the products, okay, from seeing all the people that are out here. Now, I don't have any idea if he's ever going to do the business or not, okay, but there's a high likelihood that he's going to, okay, after seeing what he's been down here. And it's just, you keep telling the story, you keep getting people on the product, and you do the best you can. I don't have all the magical answers, gang. I don't, okay? I do know this. The first thing you got to do is you got to work on your attitude. People make fun of you, who cares, okay? Somebody says it's not the right thing, hey, you got to know it's the right thing in your heart. And you can only know that by using the products and getting people on the products and having them make comments back to you on how incredible this is. The only way you're going to know that is by being active and starting to make some money yourself and get someone else who starts making some money, and they come to you and say, you know something, I hated my job at IBM, and this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Thank you so much. You got to know that in your heart, gang. And you got to convince yourself. You got to work on yourself every single day. And if you'll get up every morning and you'll work on your own self, because that's your biggest job in Herbalife, okay? You can conquer anything in your life if you want to, if you just keep working on yourself. There's going to be things that happen to you all day long that try to get you sidetracked. There's going to be people that tell you no, and you're going to get sidetracked. But you got one or two choices when you get sidetracked. You can either say, oh, poor, miserable me. Why does it always have to happen to me? And you can keep whining, and you can keep complaining, and you can keep being miserable, or you can say, I'm going to make the best out of it I possibly can, and go back and talk with more enthusiasm to the next person, just like you did. You know how enthusiastic you are when you make 10 sales? It's easy to be excited then, right? Here's when you got real leadership, is when 10 people have said no, and you don't feel good, and 5 of your people have dropped out on you, okay? And someone's making fun of you, and things aren't going right, and 2 straight weeks you've worked till midnight every single night, and the whole thing's falling apart on you. When you can pitch and get your attitude, I gotta say this one, and you faking it till you make it. By acting maybe mentally that it's going to happen. By acting like your best presentation is going to happen, like you just made 10 sales. That's when you got some true leadership. Okay? There's been some real serious times in Herbalife for me when I felt like saying, hey, that's the end of the deal, okay? Why would it be worth it for me to keep doing this, okay? There's been plenty of times for me like that in Herbalife, okay? When I had my very first meeting and I had the baggie full of powder and I was telling my best friends, and let me tell you something, these guys definitely hurt my feelings. They had been in 2 companies with me that had gone under. They knew I was serious about weight loss. They knew that's all I wanted to do because of what happened to my mom. And when I came to them, I was legitimately asking for their help. I said, listen, you guys, no kidding, man. These other companies went out on us, but we're going to do this thing, and it's going to happen, and it's going to be the most incredible thing that ever happened to us, okay? And those guys were all flakes, and they said, hey, look it, this is a joke. Nothing's going to happen. You don't think that those guys didn't hurt my feelings? And I didn't think to myself, my goodness, who am I going to go to now after everybody I was counting on to get me started just said that this is a miserable joke. You don't think the next morning I had to wake up and say, my goodness, now what am I going to do? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I started passing out flyers, and I started calling people up out of the telephone book. I started going into the newspapers, and nobody told me this stuff. I just was desperate. I said, I'm going to make it no matter what. And I got the telephone book out, and I started calling people out of the telephone book, and I made up little excuses to talk to them, okay? And then I would call people right out of the newspapers that needed jobs, and I'd say, listen, you know, I'd call Joe in there. He says he was a gardener. I said, Joe, I understand you're looking for a gardening job. He said, yes, I am. I said, listen, Joe, I don't need anybody to mow my lawn. How would you like to make an extra $2,000 a month over and above your present income? Would you be interested in taking a look at it? He said, yeah, I would. I said, listen, there's a meeting tonight. Come on down. I set up a little stand on the corner on Robertson Boulevard. Cost me about $10, this little stand. And I was actually selling little Dixie cup milkshakes out on the street corner for 50 cents at a time just to get people to try my product back then. Okay? Here's what you do when it's disappointing. Here's what you do when it doesn't look like it's going to work. Here's what you do. You do what it takes. That's what you do. See, I didn't start with a $50 distributor kit with the attitude, I wonder if this is going to work. I hope it's going to happen. No way. My entire life was dependent on whether it was going to work for me in Herbalife. And regardless of what my relatives said, or what my friends said, or what the circumstances were, by golly, I was going to make it, period. And when you got that kind of attitude, there's nobody that can get you down. There's nothing that can get in your way. And let me tell you what people want that are around you. They want leadership. They want someone who knows that they're going to make it. They want someone who says, by golly, I'm going to make it no matter what. Do you want in or do you want out? And I'll tell you what, pretty soon there was 3 or 4 people following me. And pretty soon there was 6 and 7 people following me. And pretty soon there was 20 people following me. And my goodness, after this last couple of days, look at what's happening. And let me tell you something. Couple, 2 or 3 years from now, we're not going to be able to have enough stadiums in the United States to hold people to make this thing go. I hope one of these days when we have our extravaganzas, we have to hook it up on satellite. Every single convention center, not country by country, state by state. Region by region, okay? All over the place this is going to happen. And you know, everybody always says, well, geez, nothing like that could really happen. Some of you were back around in the old days, right? Came to this thing and said, my goodness, what an unbelievable thing that's happening to us here. And all you got to do is keep doing it. Your success, where you go in life, is only limited to your own imagination and your own hard work. No wonder I'm stuck where I'm at right now in life, because I only got this big of imagination. Hey, but in the future, it's going to even be bigger. And in the future from that, it's going to keep getting bigger. And you know what? This is not a joke, gang. And some of the reasons why I'm telling you this is don't let yourself be in the same circumstances that happened to some of those people that sat in those first meetings with me, who missed it then, and they're missing it now, and they're going to miss it a year from now if they don't take some action. Take the things that you've been learning from this week and take it and put it into action. Don't think about everything. Don't worry if everything's perfect. You don't need everything perfect. Let me tell you how you get perfect. Do it 1,000 times. Do it 10,000 times. No, but I didn't know if everything was going to work in Herbalife. I knew one thing: if I put it out 1,000 times, I'd find out. Everything's not going to be perfect to you, gang. You're not going to get from where you are right now at World Team to Millionaire Team without making, I want you to write this down, a lot of mistakes. And you're not going to get to a Millionaire Team without a lot of problems. Listen, it's an impossibility to get the millionaire team without having lots of problems. And trust me, you'll have more problems getting the millionaire team than you did getting the world team. And you're going to have more problems than that from where you are from the millionaire team to the president's team. And you're going to have even more problems than that when you get to the chairman's club. And if you're lucky enough in life to end up finally being like me, you'll be in a fortunate circumstance to have a real bummer like last night. Because that's the way it is. We were teaching them this the other day in the chairman's class. I said, let me tell you something. You know, they said, well, hey, can we make the supervisor schools better? Of course we can. Can we get everybody to pitch perfect? Of course we'll try that. Can we get all the systems to be completely perfect? Well, of course we'll try that. Can we make certain that 8,000 people don't try to tear the doors down to get their Orlando dollars yesterday morning? Of course we'll try to accommodate that. Let me tell you something. We're going to have some problems between now and the time we get to 1.5 billion. And we're going to have even more problems than that going to 3 billion. That's just the way it is. And write this down in your notes. The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. You guys should see how many problems I got. You also ought to see my paycheck. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was the first distributor and everybody else is underneath me. It's all how you think about stuff. We started the first night, and some of the people that were trying to run this place were saying, there's too many people, there's too many people, there's too many people. I said, what do you mean there's too many people? There's not enough people. My goodness, what's wrong with everybody? You know, everything that you do is just how you face it. You got to deal with the circumstances and make the best of it and go on. And one of the best lines I ever heard when I was a young man was from Dick Marconi. You know, because Dick was like Dick was like my father, let's face it, when I got going. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a father. I never even met the guy till I was 21, and then we never even, shook hands really too much until I was 28. And then after that, we never even got together. Finally, one day, I said, listen, you want to go to my house with me in Maui? Could you imagine saying that? Hey? I said, you want to go to my home in Hawaii, and let's spend a week together, and I'll see if we like each other. And if we like each other, great. If we don't, we'll shake hands, and that'll be the end of the program. Okay? But when I got started, I didn't have anybody that was guiding me. And Dick was kind of like my father image, you know. He had already made a lot of money. He had already been successful. He saw this young punk off the street who really wanted to try to make it. And we had some real devastating things that happened to me and the company in 1985 that weren't real pleasant to live through. And I'll never forget Dick Marconi taking me in a room, and he said, you know, Mark, I want to tell you something. He says, if the experience doesn't kill you, you'll be a better man for it. And I got to tell you something. In 1985, I learned more about my life and more about living and more about what I was doing in business through the hardest times in my life, not through the best times in my life. Because when things are difficult and when things are not good, your true character in life, how much of a man or a woman you're going to be, is that's when it really shows. That's when it shines. That's when you can teach yourself the most. That's when you can teach your children the most. Okay? That's when you can teach your downline the most. That's when you can provide it for your family. Listen, all of our families need someone that they can look up to. And let me tell you, not just our families. It starts family by family, town by town. But let me tell you what we're doing in Herbalife. We're teaching the world how they ought to be able to live. Everybody needs some guidance in this world today. My goodness, if you look at the circumstances in the world today, with the fighting that's going on, with the people that don't love each other, with the people that can't get along with things, where else can we have a room in the world today where there's so many different languages and so many different personalities and so many different religious situations where everybody can come together at one single time with one common bond to help people with better nutrition and to help people better their lives. We got to be the most outstanding leadership that's running this world. Really, this is what it's about. You know, wouldn't it be something, back in the late 70s, a new person came on the scene, Sylvester Stallone, and it was Rocky that became America's hero. And then we had Schwarzenegger, the Terminator. Hey, he was a hero. And of course, way back when, Superman was the hero. Wouldn't it be incredible in the decade 2000 that the papers wrote, we needed a new hero, and Herbalife was the company that shined. Seriously, wouldn't it be something? Because that's what Herbalife's about, is becoming a hero. Starting at 5 pounds and getting up to your 100-pound goal. God, when I saw that lady up on stage the other night getting her 100-pound pin for the very first time, can you imagine how that woman's life has got to have changed, losing 300 and whatever pounds it is? You know what it'd be like to lose 300 pounds? Just think about how heavy you are, double it, and think of losing it. I mean, that's amazing. Just the amount of comfortability she must feel in her legs and her feet not aching all day has got to be tremendous. Probably being able to just walk around halfway decent has got to be the most unbelievable thing. Okay? That's being a hero, the weight loss heroes of Herbalife. Starting from where you guys are and getting to 5,000 or 10,000. That's the American dream. And we're trying to take that around the world, gang, and that's something that is awesome. We cannot lose the free enterprise system in the world, okay? That cannot be lost, because let me tell you something, our future generation, our children, are going to need something to look up to. And that their children are going to need something to look up to. I can't tell you how excited I was seeing this children convention here, where these kids are starting to think about Herbalife, and their parents are starting to become outstanding citizens in the community. What an incredible thing to know that our children are growing up like that, with free enterprise in mind, rather than just being a slave with a boss that's going to put them down, not give them their raises, make them feed them coffee all day long. What an incredible thing we're doing for our children. There's so many reasons to do this thing called Herbalife. Of course, there's reasons to do it for your weight loss and your health. There's reasons to do it for your own successes. But there's so many reasons to do it for someone else too. To be able to help someone lose that weight. Listen, where are they going to go to really do that? Where is the hope today for them to use something that's going to be able to make them feel good? Hey, listen, just the weight loss business in America is $36 billion. Where are they going to go for something that's really, truly going to help them out? There's so many reasons to do this, to just help someone lose weight. There's so many reasons to do this to where maybe 3 or 4 years from now, yeah, you're on the cruise, yeah, you're on the vacations and stuff, but what about on this vacation that's coming up in summer, where you have one of your brand new Get Team people come to you and say, you know something, I never ever had more than my boss give me a turkey at Christmas, much less being in a company for 6 or 7 months and I got an all-paid free vacation. I just can't tell you how miserable I've been. You know, everybody in the world doesn't just get sick because of their weight problems. Everybody doesn't just get sick because of their nutritional habits. A lot of people get sick just because they feel miserable about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Their lack of energy, their lack of lust for life itself. Hey, while we're here, for all the years that you're going to live, to just not have the lust and the passion for life, what a miserable way to live for 60 or 70 years. We're going to get someone onto this product and we're going to extend their life, and then the majority of it, they're going to be miserable. Think of how much opportunity there is for you guys to just provide hope for other people, much less how much money you guys are going to make yourself, much less how much opportunity we're going to be able to show. And I talk about this children thing a lot, but I'm serious. Every time when I saw those little kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, and they're, yelling up, Mark Hughes, I got to thinking to myself, oh, a lot of you guys haven't heard this yet. So I'm thinking everybody was in the class with me yesterday. For those of you in the World Team, I opened up the little, I don't know how old they were, but they're this big. That's how old they were. And I opened up this door, because I was going to one of these, another meeting, and I just wanted to see how the children were doing. And I opened up this door, and I've never had anything like this in my life happen to me, and it just totally affected me so much, because I really wanted all the kids from the families to be able to be here. It's always been in my heart, but now that I got my own kid, being away from him sometimes just breaks my heart. But open up this door, all these little kids went, "Oh my God, Mark Hughes!" Ah! Right? And all these, you could tell, those little Israeli kids, they were from South America, they were from Asia, they were from Australia. To just be able to, for them now at this age, to be around different cultures and know that they're starting to play with them and have fun with them and to be able to get along with them. Think how much more positive that is for them now than looking at the news that they see where all of those kids are fighting each other, okay? What really broke me up was this. I know when I come into these rooms, you guys know me, but I wasn't expecting it when I saw these little children. And I got to thinking, hey, when I walk in home, my kid doesn't hit me at the door, "Mark Hughes, ah!" Right? He doesn't do that. The only reason these little kids must have done that is their parents must have talked about me and the company, and obviously something was positive in their life. Okay? And what that meant to me was those kids must be living better and more positive and having a greater time in life right now than maybe they were before their parents joined Herbalife. And that was what was awesome to me. And what's awesome about it is this. You know what most of those parents were doing before they joined Herbalife? They were working as hard as they knew how to work. They were doing it the best they could possibly do it. They were doing everything that they knew what to do, everything that their boss told them to do, but the system's wrong. The system that they're literally in, they're not going to be able to get ahead because those systems and those companies are not set up for free enterprise and for them to get ahead. And here they're able to apply the same talent with the same skills and be with a product that truly will rearrange their attitude and a system that will allow them to go as far as they want to do based on their own hard work and their own efforts every single day. That's what's incredible. The Herbalife opportunity and system has got to be one of the most outrageous things that has ever happened to the world. And the beauty of it, it's just getting started. How are you guys all going to make it on these vacations? It's going to be real simple. Here's the first thing you're going to do. Get someone their distributor kit. I'm going to run you back through a couple of things that we did yesterday just to refresh your memory. And each one of these things may sound small, but they're big things. First thing you do is get their distributor kit. If you're present with them, there's two things that you want to do immediately. The first one always is get them to use the product. Getting them to use the product is the most important thing that you can get anybody to do. Because A, they get their own testimonial, which gives them the courage and the confidence to go talk to other people about the product. So first is getting them on the product. Here's the second thing you want to do, is recognize them for being part of the company. Get them to take that new Herbalife pin. That's their little success badge, basically. It's no different than you guys getting your World Team pin. And you say, listen, put this pin on your chest right now. Welcome to Herbalife. Don't miss that part of the distributor kit. Because listen, if a guy just is walking around and he doesn't even put on this button yet, he's now got his Herbalife pin on and 4 of his 5 friends ask. Don't miss that portion of the program. Remember that getting someone to the vacation is this. Write this in your notes. Little, tiny steps of success. And that's what you're trying to do. Get them their weight loss successes. Get them their little successes and goals in Herbalife. It's step by step, gang. It's not leapfrog from here to the president's team. It's little, tiny successes. Here's the next thing that you're going to want to do. Get them to get some customers immediately. Get them to get some customers immediately. Now, the easiest way to do that is what? Get them to think about qualifying for high five. I want you guys to start memorizing this stuff, so when I ask it to you, that should have been the first thing that spun out of your lips. Why is it the easiest thing to get them to think about? Because you can give them a goal. What's their goal if they qualify for high five? They got to sell $1,000 worth of product in 10 days. And the only time they can ever get that high five booklet is if they do it in the first 10 days. If you guys talk about the high five book and make it just as important, because remember, people only know what's important based on what you say. If you make the high five book important, it'll be as important as the vacation if you talk enough about it. If you don't talk about it, who will do it? Not many. So if I had a high five book, I'd carry it around, okay? Here's the reason why you want them to get others on the products immediately. This is very key. Remember, I'm taking you through a process. People have asked me, how do you get people psyched up to get to the president's team? This is how I do it. There's a reason behind every one of these things I do. Here's why I like them to get other people on the products. Because when they get other people on the products, sometimes their experiences on the products are much more powerful than the original person who got on them. That's a very important thing to have somebody happen to them in Herbalife. Because there's never been an experience in your Herbalife career that's as powerful as when somebody other than yourself tells you, listen, Mary, I don't know if you know how good this stuff is. I lost 25 pounds, and I'm telling you, my blood pressure's gone down 15 points. This stuff is the best thing that ever happened to me. And when that starts happening to the person that you've signed up, then the person starts saying, there's a lot more to Herbalife than just making money. Now that's critical. Because everybody can do this for the money. Everybody can just do it for the cash. But I'll tell you what I want when I've got someone going in the business. I want the man into Herbalife. I want Herbalife into the man, not just making money, because I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of things that hit you guys on making money in the next 15 days, in the next year, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years. What's kept me on track? Do you think that other people have pitched me on money opportunities over this last year? You think so? By the thousands. You don't think that with the money I've got, everybody's not pitching me for everything under the sun to try to get me to put my money into? Of course they are, but I'll tell you what keeps me on track. Knowing that all these other people could have the possibility of having these products if I just work another day, if I just tell the story one more time, if I just get out there and be enthusiastic about it. I don't got time for anything else because of the opportunities that exist to talk to them about the product. So here's what I want. I want people to get others quickly so that they get the idea this is a lot more than just making money. Now here's another thing I would utilize. And don't forget about this one. It's important. When your people start losing that weight, get those weight loss pins that you can buy from the promotional catalog. Don't forget about those. When people have lost their 5 pounds, get them that 5-pound pin and get it on their chest. I forget how much they are. They're like, how much are they in that catalog? $2 or something like that. For $2, for your customer to get recognized, for them to be able to say, do you think, how many of you know somebody, how many of you have been on another diet before? How many of you ever had the person that sold you that diet after you lost 5, 10, 25 pounds personally come over to your home and say, congratulations, Mary, for losing your 25 pounds. This is the best thing that's ever happened to you. How many of you ever had that experience? Not a person in this room, okay? So, you're trying to impact people. Listen, will the person that's losing that weight say, oh my goodness, this Herbalife thing is unbelievable. That's what you want it to be, unbelievable. So don't forget those little weight loss pins, okay? Step that you want. Don't forget about this. You want to start recruiting first line. If there was ever a time in Herbalife's history to start massively recruiting first line, it would be this year. You guys have never had so many things for your people to go for. Supervisor school next month, World Team Day, the getaway deals in May, the vacations this summer and stuff like that. If there was ever a time to get people into business, it would be this month. It would be next month, especially after what I tell you the last 5 minutes on Saturday. Seriously. So here's what you want to do. You want to sponsor people first line massively. After you sponsor first line massively, everybody asks me, well, who is it that you pay attention to? Here's what I do. I tell everybody about all the tools. I tell everybody about the plan. I tell everybody that they can get as much of it that they want to. I give everybody my telephone number. And if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me be of assistance. And here's who I work with. The people who are calling me night and day. If I got someone who's not paying attention, will I try to get them to pay attention? Sure. But I don't have time to pay attention to people who just aren't paying attention. The ones who say, hey, listen, Mark, teach me what to do. Tell me what to do. I want to do it. Just show me what to do. That's who I'm going to work with. The minute they show me interest, here's what I do. I work downline with them as quickly as possible. First thing you do, recruit first line. How do you get all those people? You've already been explained that. Get them first line. Anybody who pays attention, go downline as quickly as possible. Now your next goal with those people is to start putting in front of them the supervisor schools. Anybody that you've got that's a supervisor, you want to talk to them about being at the World Team meeting. And the big thing you want to talk to them about is what? The vacations that are going to be free in August. Because here's all I know for everybody sitting in this room. If you sponsor a lot of people first line, how many of you have got 10 first lines that you've sponsored before? How many of you, keep your hands up, out of the 10 people that you sponsored, got one supervisor? Okay, I want you to write this in your notes. That's exactly how you get people to qualify on the vacation this coming summer. Why? Because all you're going to have to do is, now I want you to go to the next stage. Concentrate on getting first-line supervisors. Don't worry if all this doesn't make sense. Trust me, this works. Main thing to do is right now do it. Next year when you're up here getting checks, I'll explain it to you again. Okay? Start breaking first-line supervisors. Don't think about all the different things that are going on. What are you doing wrong? You know, am I doing it right? Forget about all that stuff. You don't have time to think about that this year. Just start getting first-line supervisors. And trust me, when you get first-line supervisors, talk to them about being a World Team member and get to the World Team weekends. Somebody in your first-line supervisors is going to say, I can't believe it. I got to get to see Alan Lorenz and see this deal on how it's working. I can't believe it. I got to see Gary DeBravender. I'm unbelievable. I've got to go to the World Team weekends. Some of them are going to get there. Keep breaking first-line supervisors. Here's what you do again with those first-line supervisors. Keep talking to them about getting to be a what? A Get Team member. Keep showing them where they can go to become a Millionaire Team member. If you got some guy who's going, oh my goodness, I got to get to Puerto Rico on my vacation. If you got someone who's saying, oh my goodness, I can't wait to get to Algarve in Europe and Club Med and stuff like that. I just can't stand it anymore. I want to go to the Gold Coast. What would I be showing that guy every day? Have you ever seen Bermuda? It's unbelievable. I know you want to go to the Gold Coast, but Bermuda's where it's at, Jack. Okay? I'd be talking to him about Bermuda every single day. For my person that's all they could think about is Bermuda, 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 Bermuda. There's only one thing I'd be talking about. Have you ever seen the Great Barrier Reef? Have you ever seen Hayman Island before? And I'd be showing them that videotape and stuff like that. Here's all you guys got to do. Keep getting first-line supervisors. And trust me, at next year's extravaganza, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. For those of you who are on World Team, I break 5 supervisors every single month. 5 supervisors every single month. You say, it's an impossibility for me to break 5 supervisors a month. Nothing's impossible. You can certainly tell me I don't want to work hard enough to break 5 supervisors. You can certainly tell me I don't want to do it, okay? But breaking 5 supervisors a month is duck soup. I'm serious, okay? All you got to do to break 5 is what? Get so many first-line distributors, so many are going to break supervisors. When you get supervisors, all you got to do is talk to them about World Team Day and getting to Puerto Rico or to the Gold Coast or getting to Algarve for free. That's all you got to do. And the only ones that go for that, all you got to do is talk to them about Bermuda. And the ones that go for that, all you got to do is talk to them about the vacations in Hayman Islands, okay? And that's all you should be doing between right this moment and the summer. At summertime, trust me, we will tell you what to do for the next 6 months, and there won't be any questions about the program here by the time you guys get into next year's extravaganza and you're up on stage getting, yes, every single one of you, your President's Team pin. For those of you that are with us still, that are in the Chairman's Club class and so on, listen, I'm going to spell it out to you one more time. World Team, 5 supervisors a month. First line. When I say first line, though, a lot of people get mixed up on this. They say, I've had some of my top President's Team members, you know, they come to me and they go, oh, Mark, I'm doing incredible this month. I've got 47 supervisors. I said, yeah, but how many of them first line? Oh, at least 15 of them. No, I said, how many first line? Well, at least 4 of them. No, I said, first line, how many of them? Well, that'd be none. That's the point. First line supervisors. That doesn't mean someone that you get that gets 4 and you get to count 4. Is that first line? No. Okay. See, first line people means that you have to do one unfortunate thing called work. Okay? So, first line supervisors. So, World Team members, 5 first line a month. Get team members, at least 3 per month. Millionaire team members, at least 2 first lines a month. President's Team members, you got to be out of your mind not getting at least 1 or 2 per month. 5's even better. You get 5 every single month. I can tell you this much right now. For those of you that are President's Team members, you get 5 every single month with 60 next year. And I will tell you one thing. You will see the person that goes to the top of the company. Why? Because all your Get World Team members, they got plenty of things to go to called President's Team. They got plenty of reasons to get there. They got their summer vacations. They got getting part of the bonus. And if you were to get 60 new first-line supervisors, what would take place? I can tell you right now what would take place. Probably 20 World Team members, probably 10 Get Team members, probably 2 or 3 on the Millionaire Team, and a few President's Team members. Okay? And you'll see the top people standing on the stage that did exactly that. Don't think about it. Don't have to ask a lot of questions about it. Trust me. First-line supervisors, and you'll learn what the program is next year. Okay? And that's the plan. That's the plan. Now, all this stuff sounds simple, right? It all sounds easy to do, but it just takes hard work, doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then when you get sick and tired to do it, you just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And then when you get sick and tired of that, you just keep doing it over and over and over again. Write this one down. This has been a difficult one to get a handle on. But everything in life is No problem. And everything will be no problem if you just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And, you know, one thing I would really beg you guys to pay attention to, don't get sidetracked by all the people in Herbalife. There's a lot of people that you may have seen here this weekend, or you may be sitting next to someone who's done a lot better than you are, and you're saying to yourself, oh, geez, why me? Why am I doing as good as this person? You know, what am I doing wrong? This and that and the other thing. Hey, don't worry about that. Here's what you got to worry about: doing your best every single day, and do a little bit better than that the next day. As long as you know in your heart, and as long as you can look yourself square in the mirror and you can say, I did my best. And if you can say that, don't worry about everybody else around you. Don't worry that everybody else is doing a little bit better than you. Who cares? If you can be proud about what you're doing, if you can be proud about what's happening to you every single day, you're the one that can tell yourself every single day whether you're pouring it on, okay? And if you feel good about where you're at, and the only reason I'm saying that, I've seen some distributors before that definitely got sidetracked just because some other people were up there. Feel good about where you're at. Feel good about who you are. And if you want to make things better, all you got to do is look in the mirror and make them better. You guys have to realize you are the presidents, you are the chairman of the boards of your own independent Herbalife distributorships, okay? Each and every one of you have the power to be able to make things better for you. The one thing I'd like to leave you with is this. This is a very interesting thing that happened to me. I was at a dinner about 2 weeks ago, and how many of you have ever heard of General Schwarzkopf? Okay? I was at a dinner with General Schwarzkopf, and he was just an unbelievable man to listen to, and he had been talking about leadership and what it was like to be a world leader and so on. And truly, he's become an unbelievable, powerful figure to everybody around the world with the situation that we were in when we had Operation Desert Storm. Okay, everybody remembers that deal. And he was talking about what it was like to take charge and really run with things and so on. And he said he had taken us through about an hour of how he did his leadership and stuff like this, which I found very, very exciting personally. Okay, but at the end of his deal, he said, I would just like to explain to you Rule 13 and Rule 14 as I end my presentation here today. And I thought it fit not only him very well, but it certainly fit me very well. And there's no question it'll fit you very well too, because you're all leaders. He said, when I was being put in charge of the entire United States service and so on, and he said it was going to be in charge of 650,000 men and women all over America. He said it was an awesome thing to even be asked to be put in charge of. But he said the man who was general just before that, he says, I only met him for just a handful of minutes. And he said, General Schwarzkopf? He said, yes, sir. He said, I would like to give you this position now. And he says, I'm very busy. I have to go on to Europe within the next month, and then I'll be in the Pacific Rim, and then I'll be over in South America, and I'll be back in approximately 2.5 months. Congratulations for getting the job of being in charge of the most proud men and women on the face of the planet. 650,000 of them are in your proud control. Goodbye. And he said, wait a minute. He says, I don't know a lot of what to do in this job. He says, just before you leave, can I please know about the Bill 17 that's been in front of the United States Congress for the last 7 years? He says, I got to know what to do about that particular subject. It's going to affect 100,000 of our people in the next couple of weeks. He said, General Schwarzkopf, he says, I got to leave. Just remember rule number 13. Goodbye. And he says, General, before you leave, I don't got any idea what rule 13 is. He says, please instruct me and guide me. He said, listen, he says, when you've been put in control, put this in your notes. When you've been put in control, take charge. He said, wait a minute. He says, that's all I'm going to get. He says, I really got to have some advice here on these 100,000 people that are going to be affected. He said, General Schwarzkopf, He says, do you understand what I said? I got Rule 13. And he says, I can't even believe it. You're giving me this job here with all these people not knowing how to make this decision, and all you're going to give me is rule number 13? He says, I'll give you one more thing, then I'm out of here. Rule 14. He says, what's that? He says, whatever you're faced with, whenever you're making these decisions, do the right thing. And he says, it'll be all right. And he said, you know something? He says, I learned something very extraordinary from that experience. He says, I was given control of 650,000 people, and he says, here I was not knowing how to make these decisions, but I learned one thing in a handful of minutes from this guy. I had been put in control, and I had to take action immediately. And he said, the next thing was, I knew we had lots of people in the system, and if we would just keep the goals right, and we would just do it, all of the people in there would do the right thing. And he says, all I can tell you, he says, lots of people have asked me how I did the job that I did, and he says, all I know is that we took control, we got into action, and we kept doing the right thing. And that's all you guys got to do. To make it through your Herbalife distributorship and your president's team situation, all you got to do is keep doing the business. All you got to do is act upon your actions every single day. All you got to do is keep doing the right thing. And how much more righter can we get than what we're doing here? Helping people with their health, helping people with their lives, helping people change things around. We're doing the right thing. Being here is incredible because, you know, we were here 17 years ago, and this is the group of champions. Okay, I don't know if you look at the sign outside the door. This is the champion room. Look at the marquee outside, the champion room right here, okay? And we want to welcome you all here, and this is going to be an unbelievable week that we spend with each other. 17 years ago, it was unbelievable. And let me just get you clear on this, because what's going to happen here this weekend. 17 years ago, I took a little group, and you got to understand, we started the company on February 19th. That was the official date. Okay, so February, the first couple of weeks, those things, we were just putting stuff together. But the first meeting was on February 19th, where I had the meeting with the baggie full of powder. Okay, and in that next 2 weeks, we did $23,000 worth of business. Okay, and we didn't have anything. Okay, anything. All we had was the can of Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. Formula 4, an energy tablet, and a brochure to tell you how to use the Formula 1, 2, 3, 4, and energy tablets. That was it, okay? And no testimonials at that time, nobody income at that time, nothing, okay? And we did $23,000 with that. So I'm a kind of person that you can't convince that, you know, hey, you know, it's a hard thing to do, $23,000. Okay, it's not a hard thing to do, $23,000 if you work. Okay, and we're going to talk all this week about work. Okay, because a lot of people are mixed up on what the definition of work is. Okay, yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about what is work, okay? And trust me, I know how to work. And I'm going to teach you guys how to work like you've never worked in your entire life. Some of you may not want to work, okay, the way that we're going to talk about working. But we're going to teach you, okay, and take you through how to work, okay? And we came down, the second month there, we did $44,000 worth of business. And I got the idea at that meeting that, listen, why don't we put a goal on the entire company, okay? And what we'll do is we'll go down to Palm Springs and we'll get this incredible house. And what we'll do there is we're going to get to know each other, and we're going to get to be friends together, and we're going to cook together, we're going to drink together, we're going to get to know friendships, we're going to get to know each other's stories, and we're going to plan the company. Okay, and what we did is not only we planned a company, we talked about what products we were going to come out with. We talked about who was going to do the meetings for the next year. We talked about what was going to happen at the first extravaganza that was coming up at the first of the year. We talked about everything at that meeting, okay? And it happened for about 3 days. And it was so cool because what happened was we were talking to everybody all month long about doing $7,500 worth of business. And if anybody who got there, whoever got there, was going to become rich, okay? And you got to understand something. Nobody in the company had made, I was the highest guy, okay? I had made $1,200 my first month and about $2,500 the second month. So while I was making $2,500, I was telling everybody that we were going to Palm Springs, and whoever got there and whoever got with me, that we were going to plan the company, and anybody that got there, we were going to get so rich, it was going to be unbelievable, okay, is what it was going to be. When I was only making $2,500, okay, and there was approximately 40 supervisors in the company at that time. So what happened is some of the group bid on the idea, okay, and I'll never forget that because I was chasing everybody in my group, and all of a sudden, Jerry Svetanovich, Jerry wanted to be in that meeting so bad, it was just unbelievable. And she started, nobody in the company, by the way, had done more than 4,000 volume points at that particular point in the company. And all of a sudden, by halftime in the month, Jerry was already at 4,000 points, okay? And I was calling up Doug Stunts, and I said, Dougie, you're not going to believe it. You know, Jerry's going to make it to Palm Springs. You got to go, you got to go. And Doug said, oh, man, Jerry's going to make it? That school teacher? Oh, man. And he said, I got to go, I got to go, I got to go. And all of a sudden, Doug was working like crazy. Flyers at night, going crazy, doing the 7-Eleven stores, talking to everybody he could. And I get Frank Lutz on the telephone, and I said, Frank, you're not even going to believe it. I said, Jerry Svetanovich and Doug Stunts are going to Palm Springs. I said, Frank, I said, don't miss it on the program here. Get your mind right. I said, we're going to Palm Springs, and we're going to get rich. Okay, now wake up, Frank. Okay, and Frank says, I'm going. And long story short, we had Frank Lutz at that deal. We had Jerry Svetanovich. We had Doug Stunch, which all became multimillionaires. Okay, and we had Don Greneau. You've heard the story. Okay, and Don Greneau missed it. Okay, he missed out. Still got a chance to get back in, by the way. Okay, but he missed out. Okay. And there was Dallas Bordenov, who missed it, and there was Tim Greeney, who missed it, okay? And so you guys don't want to miss what's going to be happening here this weekend. And we went to the supervisor school that week, and we talked about how we were all going to Palm Springs. It was great because we did our supervisor school, and we did just like the group here a minute ago, 7,500 points. I said, I want all my guys to stand up who did 7,500 volume, and I want you guys to recognize them. And the whole room went crazy. We had like 200 people. It was our biggest meeting ever. All the guests were there, and all my people stood up, and we walked out of the room, and it was just unbelievable, right? Everybody, now you got to understand something. We walked about 2 blocks down the street. You understand? Here's the meeting room. We said, we're all going to Palm Springs. Goodbye, okay? And we said, you guys go, because we're going. And we went. And we went about 2 blocks down the street, and Doug got into his old gray primer-stained van, which was around the corner, because we didn't want anybody to see it, okay? And Jerry's old Toyota, okay? And everybody's old broke-down, ugly-looking, ridiculous car, okay? And we all drove down to Palm Springs, man, and we were so excited, it was unbelievable, okay? We were excited. And we finally get to Las Palmas, which is the richest part of Palm Springs, down the road here, right? And we turn the corner, and everybody looks at the house. And it was unbelievable. You wouldn't believe this house, man. I mean, it was about 1,000 square feet, okay? 1,000 square feet, okay? So you guys know what, I don't know what that is in the meters and stuff like that. How many meters? 100? 100 square meters, okay? And there was 2 bedrooms in there. I got the master bedroom because I was the prez. And all the girls slept in the other bedroom. And all the guys took the sofa and the floor out in the room. And we tried to go there and film yesterday the house, okay? And unfortunately, it was so ugly, they burnt it down. They burnt it down, okay? So we can't, seriously, they burnt it down. So we can't show you the house that we were in. But this was us at the boardroom table, planning the thing out. And there we were. Look at that hairdo I got. Isn't that cool? So that was me at the end of the table. That was my girlfriend over there to the right, Catherine. She was the secretary making everything that I didn't want to do happen, okay? We're going to talk about that. You got to get someone to do everything that you don't want to do happen, okay? So that you can work, okay? Because we only get paid for selling the products and recruiting distributors and then teaching people how to sell the products and recruit distributors, okay? We don't get paid for doing the paperwork, okay? Could you imagine Mark Hughes doing some paperwork? Okay, I have never done any paperwork, ever, okay? The minute I get someone signed up, do the paperwork. Here's how you do, okay? And then that's how they do, and go do it, okay? Because I don't do any paperwork, okay? Everybody else has to do the paperwork. Everybody else has to set the meeting up, okay? Yes, everybody else. From the start, by the way, everybody else has to make my bed, okay? Everybody else has to mow the lawn. Everybody else has to do everything, okay? Because the only time you got time to do anything, if you're seriously interested in getting rich, is selling the products all day long and getting distributors all day long and teaching people how to sell all day long and getting distributors all day long. That's the only thing you get paid on. The only thing. And that is going to be a general theme through this entire weekend here. We're going to teach you guys how to work, and we're going to teach you how to get rich, okay? And while we were there, we were planning out all the products, like I said. We were planning out everything that was going to happen in the company. And it was great because we were talking there in that meeting about how we were going to go. I had my original notes with me, okay? And I had my notepad with me there. We're going to have it come up on the screen here in a second. And I had my original notes, and I told the group there that day, okay, how we were going to do $2 million worth of business the first year. $2 million. And I told them that the first year it was going to be rough, and it was rough, okay? It was seriously rough. Because the reason it was rough is we had no testimonials, and we had no income. This is my handwriting, okay? Don't do the second one yet. Come back, guys. I'm not done yet. Okay, come back to the first one. The first year was rough, and it was rough because of all the things that we had to go through to get it up to being where it was. The second year, we were going to build the credibility of the company, okay? This is my handwriting that you're seeing there. My handwriting was much better back then, by the way. And I projected $20 million for the second year. And then the third year was going to be called Panic, $100 million. That was when we were going to hit the jackpot. Everybody was going to become a multimillionaire. And everything that I talked about came true. We were a little late. Okay, we were a little late because we did $10 million the first year, $2 million the first year. The second year at the $20 million, we got 10. Okay, but 10 was plenty enough to get us to half of what the third year was, which was 58. Okay, and the fourth year, we did more. We didn't hit the 100 million. We hit $142 million. And we started getting rich. My first year, I made $96,000.
My second year, I made $500,000. My third year, I made almost $2 million, okay? And from there, I've made some serious money, okay? And we're gonna show you guys how to make serious money and what it takes to make serious money, okay? This is not the regular meeting, okay? We're gonna go through some stuff with you guys that's gonna be real important here. One thing that we talked about in Palm Springs is how we were gonna work together like a football team, okay? Everybody was gonna support each other, okay? Everybody, all the time, by the way. Not just some of the time, all the time we were gonna be like a football team. And every morning we were gonna get up and we were gonna practice what was on our tapes. Back then we had the Jim Rowan tape, okay? And we got up and we listened to our tapes for a half an hour to get our minds right every day, okay? And then we were gonna hit the road and we were gonna work, okay? But we were gonna get up and we were gonna get up earlier than everybody in Herbalife is what was gonna happen. We were gonna listen to our tape and we were gonna get to work. And we were gonna support each other like no one's ever supported each other, okay? And that's a problem that I see in the company today, okay? And we're gonna really talk about this here this weekend, okay? Supporting each other no matter what, okay? And I talked to the guys about this. I said, think about it this way. Here's the kind of support that we're gonna have. I walk in to your big, giant supervisor school, okay? And it's going like unbelievable, okay? And I walk over to your top distributor. I pull out a .45 Magnum. I shoot him in the head. He falls down dead. Your reaction, all right, unbelievable, right? You just completely react to the fact that it was unbelievable. I just shot your top distributor. Now, that's pretty hard to do, isn't it? Okay, you'd be wondering, why did he shoot his top distributor? But what we gotta all do, okay, is support what we're all doing. Now, afterwards, here's what you do. You come up to Mark Hughes and you say, hey, you idiot, you shot my top distributor. Why did you do that? Okay, and I give you the answer. See, part of our deal, gang, is there's a lot of people not supporting each other. There's so many rumors going on, and the rumors are rumors. Half of these things, okay? And people are calling each other on the phone. And they're talking to people about the rumor, okay? Or about who's shipping something someplace, somewhere, okay? And they don't even know if it's true. And what they're doing is they're calling everybody in their downline griping about it. And they're calling all their upline and griping about it. They're calling everybody else, okay, in the sideline, okay, and talking about it. And here's what they're doing. Write this down. They're taking 30% of their time talking about what's going on, about the mean, nasty rumors and what's happening and who's bad and who's good and all the other stuff. That means you're making 30% less money. We got to support each other, okay? And then if somebody's doing something bad, we report it to the company. Now, I know when we reported to the company sometimes here, there's been some slow-mo, okay, happening on some of the stuff on getting back to whatever the problem is. We understand that. We understand that there's been certain problems with people who have been exporting products that have been getting away with it, and we've been doing fines, okay, and we've been doing other things that most of you think haven't been happening, okay? You think, hey, everybody's getting away with this deal, okay? And everybody isn't getting away with this deal. And we're not going to get into it now, but tomorrow we're going to show you the people that we've cut off and terminated. We're going to show you the people that we fined, okay? But we're going to show you the best part because it's going to get better than it's ever been. We got something new that is going to 100%, okay, in 90 days, stop everything that's got to do with wrongdoing Herbalife business, okay? Whether it's exporting. So we're going to have everything that you've got in your mind, okay? Everything that you've got in your mind is going to get cleared up this weekend, okay? You're not going to be fuzzy about anything when you leave, okay? And we talked about that in Palm Springs. And We talked about how we were going to build. We talked about our self-esteem. We talked about what we were going to look like. We talked about what we were going to accomplish. And we talked about to get there, we were going to all have to have a serious amount of courage. Because let me tell you something, to make $1 million a year, to make $3 million a year, to make $10 million a year, you've got to have a serious amount of courage. You got to continually do the things that sometimes you don't want to do, the things that are uncomfortable, okay? And you got to become a pro, okay, at getting comfortable with doing the uncomfortable, okay, and doing that over and over. But we talked about how courageous we were going to be, and we also talked about our dreams at that meeting. We talked about the houses that we were going to be living in. We talked about the cars that we were going to be driving. We talked about the second homes that we were going to have, our vacation houses. We talked about, everybody had their own dreams there that weekend, and we found out what everybody wanted, okay? And I really wanted to find out what did everybody want, so I had their hot button that I could keep pushing and show things in front of them to keep them to go, go, go. And we talked about what everybody's dreams were going to be, whether it was putting their kids through school and so on and so forth. We talked about the unbelievable commitment we were going to have to make to take Herbalife around the entire world. And that is a serious commitment. And it not only is then, it is a serious commitment today to take Herbalife around the entire world, which is in the process of happening. But we talked about how we were going to have to be different than all the distributors in Herbalife. We were going to have a different kind of commitment than usual, regular distributors. We weren't talking about get team members. We weren't talking about millionaire team attitudes. We were talking about multi-millionaire commitment, okay, to the company. And this is when we were only doing $80,000 that month in business. And I talked a lot about that day, that where I was at, okay, this is where I was at, because a lot of people lose it when they're doing Herbalife. They get extremely excited when they come down to that first meeting, right? First meeting, everything's happening, they're excited, and then they're going, okay? And in the second month, you know, they do kind of okay. The third month, now they're in the flyers, but they've worked their second circle of influence, right? And now they're getting into the second stage of having to do business, and it's not going quite as good. The fourth month, it starts to become a job. The fifth month, it's, you know, it's so-so testimonial. I talked about what was going to be happening with me is I was going to be wild the first month. In the second month, I was going to be wilder. The third month, I was going to be crazy. Okay? The fourth month, I was going to be ecstatic. Okay? Ecstatic is what I was going to be. The fifth month, I was going to be consistently ecstatic. The seventh month, I was going to buy my first house, which I did. Whoa. And this was the third month, and I was talking this. See? It hadn't happened yet, but I was telling them it was going to happen, and it happened. Some of it didn't happen all the same day it was supposed to, right? But it happened. The ninth month, I talked about I was going to have my vacation home, and that didn't happen that year. It happened the second year. We all talked about that we were going to have to work with all of our total commitment, our mind, our body, our soul, towards our personal goals, okay? And if we didn't do that with everything that we had, we were losers, and we deserve to be losers, okay? See, if you want to be where you're at and just keep going, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, okay? And if what you want to do after this meeting, after we get done with you guys, okay, is if you want to stay right where you're at $100,000 a year and just be comfortable, okay, that's great, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. That's not what we were talking about in Palm Springs. We were talking about how we were going to become millionaires, how we were going to commit to the company and build Herbalife around the world. That's an unusual commitment, okay? That's extraordinary commitment we're talking about, okay? And that's what we talked about that here, there, then, and that's what we're going to talk about here. we talked about how we were going to stick to the basics on continuing to sell the products and continuing to get distributors, and we were going to continue to teach people how to sell the products and recruit distributors, and that's what we were going to do all day long, okay? And then we told them at that meeting, I said, listen, gang, we're now about to leave, okay? And I've told you everything that there is to know, okay? And everything that I've shared with you here may not be for you. So if it isn't, great, okay? But where I'm going is $100 million. So I got to see you guys. I'm leaving, and I left. And when we got out of that group meeting, there was a couple of people that didn't make it. Like I say, Don Grineau, that next month, $18,000 worth of business. The next month, he was out of business and into another multi-level company. Dallas Bordenov never made it. Tim Greeny stuck for about 3 years. 3 years he did it. He's the sponsor of Mark Zuckerberg in the back of the room. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Okay, can you believe it? Okay, and he left. He left. And I never forget putting it on Tim Greeny, okay, because Tim Greeny really hurt my feelings, man. He was my best friend, okay? We had really gotten to like each other. We were very much like each other. And I never forget taking him up to my first house that I bought up on Mulholland Drive. And we were sitting there, and I said, Tim, you are making such a serious mistake. I put my best deal on Tim, okay? Just like I'm going to put my best deal on you guys, okay? I tried everything I knew how to do. And Tim left, okay? And he's got Mark Zuckerberg and all the group, Philly, everybody underneath that deal, and he's gone, okay? Tough. Tough, okay? And that's what it's going to be here. Tough, okay? So here, what we're going to do is we're back in Palm Springs for the second time. And we're going to get to be good friends this weekend. Good friends, okay? No private meetings for Mark Hughes, okay? I'm going to be out with you guys, and I'm going to try to get every single person's story in the room. I know you guys, okay? I know you guys, okay? But I don't know you guys, okay? And we're going to get to know each other differently than we've known each other ever before, as much as we can in 4 days, okay? Everywhere I'm going to be is at the pool, at the breakfast table, at the wherever you guys are at, okay, is what it's going to be, okay? Because this group is my champions, okay? And we are the group that's going to make it happen. And we're going to talk all week long about the teamwork that we're going to have to take Herbalife around the world, to have the kind of prestige that we want, to have the kind of smell-good company that we want, to have the kind of shiny image that we want. It's going to take a serious amount of teamwork, because we're in a serious amount of languages, with a lot of different religions, with a lot of different colors of skin, with a lot of different kind of personalities, and it's going to take a lot of people that have the commitment to take the message, okay, to all around the world, okay? And we're going to get to know each other. We're going to get rid of all the rumors this week. All the rumors, whatever they are, and I know what they are, by the way, okay, and you guys are going to help give some of them, okay? We're going to get rid of them all this weekend so that our minds are right. So that we're not thinking 30% of our time about who's doing what and everything that's going on, okay? The only thing that you need to be thinking about, okay? Only thing you need to be thinking about, okay, is how many customers you're going to be getting, and how many distributors you're going to be getting, and how many people, and then you're going to get teaching those people how to get customers and how to get distributors. That's all you guys need to be doing, okay? That's all you need to be doing. Okay, all you need to be doing. $50% of the first Palm Springs group became millionaires. Now look at what we got here. Isn't this interesting? And I'll tell you what's really interesting, okay? There was me and 7 people that came to Palm Springs. Today what we have is me and my 7 Chairman's Club members today. Very interesting. And we are all going to this front row, okay, because these guys are very good friends of mine, and they know, okay, they know how to work, and they know how to make millions, okay, and we're going to do our best job, okay, to get everybody in the room clear about how you're going to make millions, okay, how you guys are going to make millions. Now, whether you make millions or not is strictly up to you, okay, and like I said at the beginning, okay, if everything that we talk about isn't for you, that's okay, okay? This is not your average, ordinary, regular meeting that we're going to be talking about. We're talking about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what the game plan is. I'm going to show you guys the entire game plan on how we're going to get this year here. You understand? This year here, if we pour it on when we get out of this room, we're going to be about $1.5 billion this year. $1.5 billion. Now that means we got to get out of this room, okay, and we got to pour it on like we've never poured it on in our entire life in the next few months, because we might miss it by 50 million if we don't get busy, okay? But we need that $1.5 billion. Do you understand why we need that? Write this down. It sounds better. It's part of our history. It's going to be part of our story that helps us get people in, write this down, easier. Every year in Herbalife has been easier. Every year. So we have to pour it on so we can hit 1.5 billion so we can make it easier. Okay? Then I'm going to show you guys, okay, over the next couple of days, how we're going to hit 2.1 billion next year. Write that down. Because that's what we're going to do. Okay? If you guys do it, it's irrelevant. I am going to do 2.1 billion. Do you understand? I am going to do 2.1 billion. We're going to show you the products, okay, that's happening over the next year. Okay, we're going to show you that. We're going to show you the countries that are going to be happening, okay? We're going to show you how we're ethically going to do it, okay? We're going to show you that. Okay, we're going to become best friends here this weekend, okay? But we're going to show you this weekend how we're going to get to $5 billion, okay? $5 billion. $5 billion. $5 billion is what's going to be happening. And I'm going to get the $5 billion, period. Okay? This kid is going to $5 billion. Now, again, if you guys decide to get in on this, okay, great. Because let me tell you how much money you're going to be making at $5 billion. Write this down. Put down your total income that you're making per month right now. Write that down, everybody. Karsten. Everybody. Okay. No, don't think. Right. Do as I say. Don't think. I know how to make millions. Okay? I'm going to teach you guys how to make millions this weekend. I don't want you to think. I want you to listen and do. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Okay? And we're all going to get seriously rich. Write down how much you're making right now. At $5 billion, you're going to be making a minimum of 5 times what you're making right this moment. Write that figure down. Stare at it. Get a feeling of it. Where could you be living? What kind of houses could you guys have? What kind of clothes could you be having? How many cars could you have? Okay? At only 5 times. Now, some of you, okay, some of you are going to be making 10 times what you're making right now. 10, write it down. 10 times, write that figure down. Get a feeling of what that looks like. 10 times what you're making right now. Do you understand that at $5 billion, there's going to be $50 million in just the 1% pie? $50 million. Do you know how much money that is? There's going to be people at $5 billion, okay, that get $5 and $6 million, okay, in just the pie. You see, some people are making 10 times. There will be someone at $5 billion. There will be a couple of people that are making about 20 times what they're making right this moment. Why do I know that? Because I know exactly what everybody's making right now at $1 billion. You see, I know all your guys' incomes, every single person, okay? And it's going to happen. And it's going to be unbelievable when it happens. The whole world, gang, is going to be open in about the next 5 years. The entire world, okay? And we're going to get the products that we have currently in all the existing countries. We're going to get the other countries opened up with the regular product line and then come back and get them all the products. Then we're going to show you this weekend the new products that we're going to get involved with over this year and the next year. We're going to show you that. This is not for everybody to show, okay, but we're going to show you guys, okay? And we're going to do the $5 billion plan, and it's going to be absolutely unbelievable. And let me tell you, that's where I'm going, okay? The biggest money that's ever been made in this company is going to be made between here and $5 billion. The next money is going to be made from then to $20 billion. You guys are looking at the Microsoft of nutrition. Nutrition Gates, yes. We're going to also do something that's a little different because we're going to work. Okay, I'm going to work this weekend. My Chairman's Club members are going to help get you guys, okay? And we're going to do everything we can to teach you guys how to make millions, okay? And remember, 50% of the room became millionaires last time. Look at how many millionaires we got this time. 50% of this 600-person room, okay? Millionaires. What a story that's going to be, okay? But we're not going for 50% of the room. We're going for 100% of the room like we did in Palm Springs. Some of those guys, yes, everybody. Everybody. Some of those few didn't get it because of circumstances, okay? There's no testimonials, nothing was happening, okay? There was a different set of circumstances in the first room. This room doesn't have that set of circumstances. We got the products of the century, okay? If we didn't do anything else, and we just had our products, we could get the $5 billion if we kept talking long enough and just kept doing, okay? Yes, yes. We've got the marketing plan of the century. Now, I don't know if you know this, okay, but we pay out, write this down, 30% more than any other direct sales company in the world. Now, I know some of you may doubt that because of the way some people have come to you and they've shown you the 10% on the first level, the 8% on the second level, the this percent on the this level, and so on and so forth. But listen, I know all the marketing plans that are out there. They've got their point values, and they pay on wholesale, or they pay on different numbers, and when you look at it and trickle it all down, okay, all down. And by the way, you're going to have a brochure at the summit that's going to show you every company, okay, every company, every company. So, we're the best. We're the best, right? I want to cover a couple of rules and regulations on how we're going to play the Herbalife game as we go forward so that we keep the integrity to the company and so on. And it's particularly important that this group understands it. For some of you, it'll seem a little mundane, but you know what? It's real interesting. Even when I meet with the president's team and go over some of this stuff, they still got questions on some of these particular rules and stuff. It's very important that you guys understand some of the rules that glue the company together, because you're the ones that are going to have to teach it. You're the ones that are going to have to communicate it. You're the ones that are going to have to get it to someone else who's going to speak it in another language. And you've got to be able to operate these businesses far beyond what I'm doing from the top, okay? Anybody that's not a resident, that's outside of a country that's legally open, they can sign a distributor application, but they must have a residence in a country in which we're open, okay? So if some guy from India wants to sign up, can they sign up? Yes. Where do they have to have an address? In any one of 24 countries in which we're open, okay? Now, just because this person has an address, can they now do any business in India? No, period. Can a person in India sign up an application in France and do business in America? Yes. Can he sign up on an app in the United States and do business in Germany? Yes. Okay? So that's the way the applications work. This international game, okay, that we're playing changes from time to time. Okay? And you guys are just going to have to get used to the changes, all right? Why does Herbalife change the rules from time to time? There's only one reason why we change the rules. Different laws, different things that hit us, different situations that change from time to time. We have to make certain that the company is legally protected. We're not kidding around about this Philippines things. We just got our products approved there. We're just in the process of opening the company up and so on. This means you cannot go over there and do business until the company says open, okay? Because what will end up happening is someone goes over there, does something illegal, does some kind of advertising that knocks us out of the ball game, does something wrong with the product, does something wrong with the marketing structure, and all of a sudden we're almost at the approval date, and bang, we're another year away from opening. We're just at the edge of opening that country up. If you hear about someone doing some stuff, okay, let's do yourself a favor. Let's find out if it's true, okay, not rumor, not jealousy, not the fact that someone's check's bigger than yours, not the fact that, oh my goodness, you know, they got to the president's team in 9 months and they must be doing something wrong, so, you know, this and that and the other thing, bonus this, bonus that. You know, there's so much money around here, a lot of people are getting greedy, okay, and jealous about some of the stuff that's happening in the company, okay? But if you find out if it's something accurate, okay, here's what I'd like you to do with it. Please just communicate it with the company and we'll take care of it. We got to have time to get our company better than it is, bigger than it is, the systems better than they are, to sparkle so that when we're ready for this worldwide movement, the company looks the same everywhere, it's got a good image everywhere, and we can take this company over the next 5 years and we can make it sparkle so that we're proud of it, our people are proud of it, our children are proud of it, the governments are proud of it, we got no legal problems, okay, and we make the thing shine. That's what we need to do. What is a country allowed to sell when it's legally open? Only what's in their country and that's legal to sell. Okay? Remember something, that we have financial responsibilities to each one of these governments. As we open up, there has to be a formal company there, and the products that are sold within that country, the government expects us to pay taxes on. It's part of being a good corporate citizen. So if you guys or your guys want to end up getting bad articles, bad press, problems with the government, and people sneaking around getting people locked up in jail, just go ahead and import some illegal products from the illegal countries and keep selling them and stuff like that. And I know sometimes it's difficult. We have to make certain that we keep within the laws of the land in which we're doing business. There is no company that's going on a worldwide basis the way that we are and allowing their distributors to earn cash on every one of those companies on a worldwide basis. There is nobody else doing that. And we need to understand that there's some difficulties with that. There's some problems with that. And also, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. What about, if I'm somebody and I just bring in a little bit of stuff into India for personal use? Okay? The answer is no. Right? And the reason the answer is no is because there's so many people that we've got, okay, out of the 1 million people that we got in Herbalife, if all of them said, by the way, you can just have a little bit for personal use, well, let me clue you in what's going in across the border. 75,000 truckloads full of personal use, okay? And pretty soon you got the same problem. A problem that's a product that's illegally labeled, illegally formulated, illegally this, illegally that, and pretty soon there's newspaper articles about Herbalife's doing business in India illegally. It's a scam, it's a bad deal, and we got to go in and spend the majority of our time cleaning it up, not building it. You can't say the name of the company in an advertisement. You can't. Now, this is America, okay? Canada, you got your own rules and stuff like that. Mexico, you guys know you got your own rules. South America, you guys know you got your own rules. This is America only, where we're safe, okay? Everything's okay, no problems, okay? Name of the product, in Australia, you guys know what you got to do, okay? This is for America, all right? No name of the products, no name of the company, no misleading claims on the products, no time frame on how many pounds in how many days, and no misleading deals on the income. Change of sponsorship through just individuals, change of sponsorship through husband and wives, change of sponsorship through partnerships, and every which way you can finagle your way out of trying to cheat your sponsor out of cash. We need to talk about it so you guys are clear about it, so that you understand that you have got rules that you've got to play with, and that the company is going to protect all of you at all times, okay? No matter what. I don't care who the distributor is, how big they are, okay? We're going to protect you guys from yourselves whether you like it or not. If it's a dual application, when will we catch it? Right away, okay? Because it's all numbered and so on, okay? But if it's not a dual application, and Mr. Businessman, with all his smart knowledge, and Mr. President's team member, with all their genius of the tricks, okay, are signing up all these different people in these different organizations through the different children, through the different partnerships, through the different thises and thatses of the world, and so on. And now they're down here building, okay? During this process, Herbalife might not find out, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's not the same application, we're not seeing the problem and so on, and there's a problem that starts going on. Here's what happens every single time, okay? A gets the mailer, and she ends up at the extravaganza. She's sitting out there in the audience, still a supervisor, okay? And she can't believe it that B is up here with the girlfriend standing on stage getting their president's team pin. And she says, I can't believe it. If that person's on the president's team, my check should be 10 grand a month. I wonder what the deal is. She ends up calling the home office. What is the home office going to do? A, we're going to investigate. Now, the investigation may take some time because we're going to investigate no matter how tricky this person is. We'll go to every length that we can, from calling every single person that was ever signed up to investigating the bank accounts, how the checks were cashed, their tax returns, you name it, we're going to find out about it. And what are we going to do? no matter when it is, no matter what the time frame, no matter how long ago it was, all the volume gets switched back over to A, who was supposed to have earned money on it, A1, who was supposed to have earned money on it, A2, who was supposed to have earned money on it, and in some cases, A3, who was supposed to have earned money on it, including A number 50, who might have been getting a slip down 2% or 6% bonus on it, and we will not only move the volume back, we'll move the positions back, and we'll move the money back. If you get into a problem on a change of sponsorship, here's what you do. Give it to the company, bug us every 30 days, and go get another 25 supervisors. Protect yourselves. Remember I told you here that there was a couple things yesterday that you had to do when you're making money. Okay? Number one, you got to fight to make the money that you make. Number two, you got to fight to keep the money that you get. Okay? And that's part of this deal over here, because when you got one of these new countries that open up in like a Spanish language or something like that, it's easy for these guys to be signing different applications. Here's one thing you can always count on Herbalife for is we'll do the right thing by you guys. Okay? Every single thing is not always black and white. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of circumstances, a lot of things that can happen, but we do the right thing. This company has never made its decisions on the cash that it makes. It has always made its decisions on what's best for the people. Remember, you guys are building your own Herbalife dynasties on top of what I'm building also. Okay? And my reputation is no different than your reputation. Okay? Your group listens to you based on who you are, and what you've done in the past. Okay? And so if you want to look at how they're following you, look at what you're doing. So if it was me, leadership always says, do what's best for the group, not what's best for my pocketbook. The partnership's no different than the boyfriend-girlfriend deal or the this or that or the other thing, all that kind of stuff. See, the thing that you got to realize is that a contract to me and someone who's working the distributorship who's not even on the distributorship is still an implied contract. Sign up on a contract. You're locked there. Okay? You're stuck in that contract with that group. Okay? For all the terms of the contract. All right? No matter what, unless the three upline earning supervisors, okay, release that person, because who has got the rights to that downline? The people who are in that line that are earning income off of it. What do you guys do? Okay, what do you guys do if you're afraid, okay, about a meeting, okay, and a person, and you think they're going to get robbed? What do you guys do? Okay, make certain that they're on your application first. If that means you got to get them a German application, get them a German application. If that means you're so scared that you got to buy an Australian distributor kit and put in the mail an Australian distributor application, okay, and the guy signs up on the Australian distributor application and later on applies for a change of address, is that what I would do? I'd do everything I could to, number one, fight for the money that I get and protect the money that I get. That's what I would be doing. What needs to happen at an Herbalife business meeting is Herbalife. What needs to be talked about are our products. What needs to be talked about is our philosophy. What needs to be talked about is our business opportunity, okay? Anything other than that is going in the wrong direction, okay? We don't discriminate against anybody. The second thing that you've got to realize, it's bad and stupid business to reject anybody for anything, okay? Regardless of their sex, regardless of their religion, regardless of their color of skin, regardless of their background, regardless of what religion they're involved in, and regardless of what the situation is, okay? Because if you build your business that way, you're going in a serious wrong direction. This also goes for multi-levels, okay? We say that you as an individual have the right to involve your first line in another business since that's your business. Everybody got that? Okay, we don't like it, but that's the situation. But if you try to involve your second line, you're not allowed to go and talk to your second line Why? Because maybe you get paid on that, but you didn't develop that business. Your first line did. So if you go start attacking your second line to try to get them involved in something else, okay? Or you're now invading the privacy of the person who sponsored them. We say you can't do that, all right? If you go raid anybody else's organization and start getting them into the thing, okay? There's a couple things that happen. Number one, you can't participate in production bonuses. And number two, when we find out about it, okay, and you guys let us in on the know on it, there's most of the time, okay, if the organization's getting real hurt, we'll stop the checks, okay, even though it may not be able to be done in some areas, okay? You guys get it to us. We feel serious about it. We'll hold up the money and try to slow up the process, okay, of these guys raiding your organization. Smoking in these deals and stuff like that, okay? You guys got to start remembering who and what you are. Jim Rohn said something at the end of the deal here that was very important. Sometimes you guys don't realize what impact you have on the people that you're around because you've been living with yourself day to day to day to day, and you're becoming more. People are seeing you different. People are respecting you different, and sometimes you don't even realize yourself who and what you are have an impact on a lot of people that you're around, okay? So you guys have to be very mindful, okay, of what you're doing, how you look, how you dress, how you act, what you do in front of the people that you're around. This includes doing stuff that's not necessarily great looking for our business. Let's start acting like millionaires. Let's start thinking like millionaires. Let's start being millionaires before we get there and stuff like that. That's what I had to do, okay? I had to start talking about millions before there was millions. I had to start talking about big checks before there was big checks. I had to start talking about big business before there was big business, okay? Let's start being more than what we are, and at the same time, let's be mindful of what we are.
There's a couple of ways to recruit that I just want to remind you of here. No question, one way is first-line recruiting. But there's also what's called secondary recruiting. So my goal always was, after I went through my circle of influence, doing every single thing I could to try to first-line recruit, which meant I was doing everything, by the way. And for those of you that don't do everything, you should at least know everything as leaders so that you can pass out the menu to everybody. What do I mean by that? Some of you, if you don't ever learn this, fine. Can you get rich without what I'm telling you? Yes. Can you get richer with what I'm going to tell you? No question about it. Some of you are good at only handing out flyers. That's what you are good at. Some of you are good at only doing flyers to get first-line recruiting going on. Some of you are good at only getting people in front of the HBN network, and that's what's making it happen for you. Some of you are good at just getting people one-on-one. You do presentations one-on-one, okay? And that's what gets you first-line recruiting. Some of you are good at doing this mailing program that you got going on, okay? This direct mail response deal that some of you are doing out here in the audience. And that's what's making it score for you, okay? There's a lot of different things. Some of you only recruit off your buttons. But I'll tell you what you're going to make a big mistake at as leaders if you don't know. Knowing the menu. See, if you only continually be good at flyers, and that's all you ever tell anybody about, flyers, 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 flyers. Guess what? Out of 10 people, there's going to be 7 of them that don't like flyers, that join your companies. And there's going to be, because they're all going to be different types. Some are going to like flyers. Some are going to like ads. Some are going to like one-on-one. Some of them are going to like the buttons. Some are going to like watching the television set. Some of them are going to like doing one-on-ones or using the direct mailing program. They're all going to like doing different things. And unless you know the menu, your advantages go way down on how you can attract people to the company. So make sure that you, even if you're not using the menu, that you know how to tell somebody about the menu. See, it doesn't make any difference if you don't use the menu. See, there's lots of stuff, myself personally, I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do this direct mail program that some of you are doing. I couldn't do it. Me personally. That doesn't mean it's bad. Just means that I wouldn't do it, okay? Me personally, I love the flyers. Me personally, I love the advertisements. Advertisements is how I built my business, okay? Talking first line here right at the moment. That's what I love to do. But that's not the only thing I teach. Because if I did, guess what some people would have not done? Ads and flyers. Because some of my people didn't have the money to do the ads. Some of them were scared to answer the telephones. But they would put on their button because it was already in their kit and paid for. And they actually got to the president's team through the button retailing the product, and they mostly retailed the product and then turned them into distributors and got to the top, and that's how they got to the top. So make sure, as leaders, when you're doing your training classes, that you know enough about the menu so that you can attract every kind of person that there is, so that you can put them all on stage, so that they can all tell the results of the different parts of the menu, so that somebody in the audience says, I like that. If that guy can do it, I can do it. That's a secret. Now see, make sure that you get that one, because if you don't get the menu, it's not that you can't get rich, it just means that you're not going to get rich as quick. Why has Mark Hughes been able to become so incredibly wealthy? Because I am so incredibly free and loose oriented. I'm not fixed to anything. It doesn't make any difference to me as long as it's ethical, as long as it's not against the law, as long as it's not tricking somebody, as long as it's got to do with using the products. Wearing something means anything. A button, a cap, a flyer, a sign, it doesn't make any difference. It's the concept. And as long as you're talking to me means anything that's talking. Talking means talking. So, but if you get fixed to something, I've heard people say to me, well, listen, bad deal about this direct mail program and stuff like that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a mailing program, okay? There's nothing wrong with it, okay? There's nothing wrong with this particular method of operation or that method of operation or this method of operation. Here's the only problem that there ever is with any particular method of operation, is if you start doing something other than what's in the philosophy. For instance, like trying to change the marketing concept. In other words, you add something to the marketing plan or add something extra to the concept that tries to make you some little extra money someplace, somehow, somewhere. Like, for instance, maybe books and tapes, okay? And you start making that one of the issues of your program, and you make that one of the big deals instead of using the products, wearing the button, and talking to people. Or making money on the meetings. Or making money any other way. See, as long as you keep it flexible and it stays within the concept, that's important, because then you're able to get anybody. And that means when I say talk about this philosophy, I'm very serious about it, okay? Because anything that you do outside of the norm, okay, other than using, wearing, and talking, you're going to make a serious mistake. Making anything other than the issue of those three things, and you're going to make a mistake, okay? You could say use, wear, talk, and then religion. I don't care what your religious beliefs are, okay? Have every kind of religious belief you want to. But if you start making that part of your pitch, okay, and you start making that part of your program, guess who you just didn't get? We have one mission here in Herbalife, if you haven't recognized it. It is making a better world for people to live in, taking better nutrition to the world, okay? That is our mission statement, okay? Everybody's got the freedom of believing in everything that they want, okay? But it's not use the products, wear the button, use the products, wear the button, talk to people, and see the Pope. Okay? Because when it's use the products, wear the button, talk to people, see the Pope, guess who you're not going to get? The Jewish community. You see? The Arabics that are going to be involved in the company. Okay? Any kind of person that you want to talk about. It's freedom of your choice to do with whatever your life that you want it to be. But if you really want to affect the world, you got to be loose about it and not put out your other hang-ups on other people. Now here's another little thing. If you guys want to inspire your group, and seriously inspire them, because there is a little trick to inspiring your group. Everybody says, well, is it the incredible motivation talks that you get and stuff like that? Sure, that can be inspiring. But if what you're saying is not matching what's going on, then you're not very inspiring. All the way to the way your waistline looks, all the way to the way your face looks, to what's happening around your life. Why was Mark Hughes inspiring? Because, one, my pitch. But pretty soon, everything that I was pitching, I started doing. When I first got Herbalife started, all I had was a white jacket and a nice little pair of black pants and a red tie. And I felt it was so cool, that white jacket, those black little pants and that red tie. Oh, plus I had, in my little office, I had white carpeting. I don't know why I thought white carpeting was cool, because about 3 weeks into the program, everybody had stepped on it so much, the office really looked ugly, okay? But I had this beautiful, and by the way, I got for the very first time, about 6 months ago, after 16 years, I bought a white jacket again with some black pants. But I'll tell you one thing I didn't get was a red tie, because I don't want to ever remember what that outfit was like again. And I kept wearing that outfit, and I finally got, and I was pitching, and I finally got myself a black velvet coat. I'll never forget getting that black velvet coat, and everybody in Herbalife all of a sudden had a black velvet coat. It was amazing. Doug was getting one, Dennis was getting one, and everybody's getting a black velvet coat all of a sudden, just because I had changed my clothes. And I never forget, I drove up in my brand new Eldorado. And all of a sudden, everybody wanted brand new Cadillacs. See, I didn't just tell my group to go, go, go. I kept going myself. I always outproduced them at the meetings. I always brought more people to the meetings than they did. I always outsold more retail than they did. I was outdoing them in everything. Why? Because through example is how you're inspiring. If you want to just go out there and pitch, go ahead. But if you pitch and you start making things reality, you'll become inspiring. That is inspiring. What has inspired so many people around me? Mark Hughes keeps going. Then it was my very first condo. No, none of my guys had ever seen a beautiful condo. I had that little rinky-dink condo on the beach and stuff like that. But to me, it was like a giant mansion. That thing was big enough. I mean, we could fit that in my wife's bathroom today, okay? But to me, it was like the biggest mansion that had ever been around, okay? And pretty soon I had my first little condo, and I was very good at finagling everything, trust me. I mean, I was a master at making myself look better than I really was for very little money. And when I got that first condo, pretty soon my people started getting condos. And when I got my first house, my people started getting some of their first houses. When I got my very first Rolls Royce, some of my people started getting fancy cars. When I got my first mansion, some of my people now got mansions, okay? So if you want to be inspiring, keep working on yourself and keep improving yourself. You heard it all said by every single person that was up here, okay? That you don't just tell your group, go. So it starts all the way down at the bottom. Alan was brilliant at talking to you about promotion. If you want to promote anything, guess what you do first? You don't just promote it. First, you qualify for the promotion yourself, and then you promote it. Because if you do it yourself, it's going to be more attractive to your people. So You want lots of people to go on vacation. If you guys want to be on vacation, first get on vacation. You want lots of people to be on vacation? Qualify for vacation and then show them the vacation. And pretty soon, a lot of your people will be on vacation. And pretty soon, all of those people will show their people about vacation. And pretty soon, that's how your check gets going, bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you want things to get better, keep improving yourself. And that means for all you guys. That means for all of you guys. You want to get bigger? You got to become bigger yourself. So you don't just go group go, go group go. You keep going yourself. And let me tell you, it will go. How do you keep inspired? I can't remember who said it in the meeting and stuff like that. It was Alan Lorenz, okay? He says, the way I keep inspired is from the new stories. New stories meaning he's getting new retail. Stories meaning he's getting new distributors. Stories meaning he's getting new supervisors. When that's happening to him, he keeps inspired. But if you just keep trying to squeeze your organization into $1 million without keeping inspired yourself by the own amount of retail you do, the own amount of recruiting you do, the own amount of supervisors you're breaking, then you're trying to squeeze your organization into $1 million by telling them, you guys do it, I don't got to do it. Can you make a little bit of money that way? Yes. Can you even make a lot of money that way? Yes. It's even worse when you're making a lot of money that way, and then all of a sudden you go on no-go mode. And you just tell your group, go, you gotta go, you gotta go. And in the beginning, you went yourself. And then pretty soon all you're doing to your group is saying, go, 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 and that makes you more money. Go, 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 and that makes you more money. And pretty soon for the next couple of years, that's all you're doing is saying, go, 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 go. And pretty soon you start getting dissatisfied. And pretty soon you start saying, I wonder why my check's not going up, and I wonder why it's not growing, because you can only get so much out of your group. Your group at some point is going to kind of get to where they want to be. And go, 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 you can't squeeze any more out of it. So if you want to get some more out of it, you got to become more yourself. And that means constant retailing, constant recruiting, constant breaking supervisors. Because here's another thing you got to do every year. Write this in your notes. Replenish that you lose. You are going to lose a certain amount of people each year. You are. No matter how successful you are, no matter how big your check's getting, no matter how big it's getting, every year you start over at the beginning, and you've got to replenish a certain amount of people that you lost to stay even. And then if you want it to get bigger, you've got to do more than that the following year just to make it become more. So don't get into a mode here of only go, go, go to your group. What you do is go, go, go on yourself. And let me tell you something, you'll have a business. I can't wait till I can get someone up on the stage and they're the first person in Herbalife that says, I've got a business that does $1 billion a year. Can't wait. I can't wait. Someone's going to be able to say that deal. Someone's going to say, Mark Hughes is pitching $1 billion. Now I'm pitching $5 billion. There is going to be a distributor up here someday that says, my organization did $1 billion last year. Unbelievable. There's some people thinking about it. There are a couple of people around here that do think about that. In order for Herbalife to become what it needs to become, and in order for it to be the kind of business we all want it to become, we have to all be in business together. You can build your businesses a couple of ways. And you can make money some different ways in Herbalife, but at some point, building it wrong is going to catch up with you. And the only thing that's going to happen is that because of the way that Herbalife is, and because there's more good than there ever is the bad, there's only one thing that ends up happening. It catches up to you and it forces you out the door. It's the only thing that can possibly happen. And so what I mean by that is I know some of you are from some other countries, and then you're in some countries that are in a pretty fast go mode right at the moment. And sometimes you need to start thinking a little bit differently. And here's the way I'd like you to think. Every time you're making a decision, every time you're going to do something in your business, I'd like you to think, is this what Mark Hughes would be doing? Is that what Mark would do? Is that what he would do? There's some things that happen, like for instance in France, okay, that goes outside the business that help mess up the business in France. France was on a major go, go, go mode. And guess what a lot of the guys over there were doing? They figured out that it would be a lot faster to get their organizations to the 246 that if everybody just sold the downline product at 50%. All of it. No retail, no wholesale, no nothing. Everybody gets it at 50% off on the first, second, third level, all the way from the time you get the guy in to the people they get in, to the people they get in. Everybody's getting it at 50% because they figured we do all this incredible stuff for Herbalife twice as fast. And guess what happened? Right down the tubes. Because guess what happened to some of the new people as this major roller coaster was going on? Some people didn't make any royalties fast enough. Some people didn't make any wholesale fast enough. And by thinking that they were doing something incredible for their organizations, all of a sudden they had some people that weren't making the royalties fast enough, that weren't making the wholesale fast enough, and all of that stuff crashed and burned for them because they got outside of doing what the normal is. They started taking it into the newspapers and selling it for 50% off. Guess what that did to France? It started messing up the entire, not only organization for them, but it messed up the organization for all of you. And we're in business together. When you do something, you don't just do it to yourself. You do it to yourself and the person sitting next to you. And you not only do it to yourself and the person sitting next to you, but you do it to your uplines and you do it to your downlines. And by golly, you need to not steal from anybody. Your downlines, your uplines, or anybody else in the room. See, that's something you need to know about Herbalife. Because you know what? There's a lot of other companies out there that they'd say, you know what? So what, it hurt a few people. Look at all the business we're getting in. I don't care if it's the loneliest little housewife that got into the company to the top president's team member in this organization. And we have gotten rid of some of the top people in our company in the past. And it don't make no difference. Principles are principles. And this company is going to sparkle, and it's going to shine, and we're going to be respectable, and we're going to do it the Herbalife way. And so when you think about these things, I want you to think about, would Mark Hughes be making this decision? Because let me tell you something, the decisions you're going to make are not only going to be the Mark Hughes consequences, number one, but number two, doing it the Mark Hughes way for year after year after year after year. And that's what you want, gang. It may be a little more difficult in the beginning. It may take you a little longer to get to where you want to go. But let me tell you something. In the end, you will win. You will win. Just as important, we will win. And that's got to do with all the integrity of the company. That means out-of-line buying, okay? Where someone comes to you and they want to buy it from you because it's a little bit easier. There's a lot of tendency sometimes to want to go ahead and sell it to the person, okay? Maybe their supervisor dropped out and stuff like that, and they come to you and they're begging you, geez, I'd like to buy some of your inventory. Remember, when you're selling it to that person, guess who you're stealing money from? Their first upline, their second upline, and their third line, and everybody upline that's in the 2, 4, 6 check. Stealing is what it's called. Stealing. I want you to think about that. And we're not going to allow for stealing. Not going to allow it. See, these rules and regulations that we've got in our company, in our plan, are to protect every single person in this room, no matter who you are. To the lowest little housewife in the company, to the auto mechanic that just gets started, that's got grease stains all over his cans, to the top person in the company with his Brooks Brothers suit. We don't care. Ethics are ethics. And we got to not only protect us, okay, but you got to protect everybody in the room, because as a unit, we can become 5 billion. As a unit, we can get to 10 billion. As a unit, we can get to 15 billion. And we'll be the kind of companies that we want our children to respect and their children to respect. So when you move and become a leader in the company, you got to move as a leader with integrity in all parts of the plan, even if it's a little bit slower, because the integrity of what we're doing in Herbalife has not only paid off now, but what it's going to pay off for us in the years to become is going to be nothing short of mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Trust me, they've been going on for 16 years, and this industry is only becoming more popular every single year. See, the multi-level industry is just becoming a way of doing business. In the future, it's going to become the way of doing business, not only here, but around the globe. It's going to be amazing as we affect the globe. Do you realize that Herbalife's only in just a very small section of the globe at this moment? We're only in a population right now of about 1,400,000,000 people. There's still almost 4 billion people that we're not even involved with yet in other countries. And when we get to those 4 billion and these other companies crash and burn, guess who's going to be standing there as the company that's got the integrity, the company that's got honesty, the company that our children want to be involved with? Guess who's going to cash in on it? Us. Now let me teach you the marketing plan and teach you how to teach the new marketing plan, okay? And within a very quick period of time here, you're not even going to need to do this. Just sign the application, check comes in the mail, okay? This is you up here at the top. You've done your full 2,500, so you are allowed to earn 5%. Now write this in your notes. You always, on your first 3 levels, earn 5% no matter how much volume they do. Okay? So on A, they did 2,500, you earned how much? 5%. Okay? B did 2,500, he's on the second level, you get 5%. C does $500 worth of business. Okay? On C, you earn 5%. Okay? Why? Because he's your third level. Get it down in your brain. No matter what happens on your first 3 levels, you always earn 5%. But normally, this guy would have cut you out of royalties. So we skipped down here a generation, and D, who's on your 4th generation, did 2,500. C, who's at 500, who's only at 1%, got 1% on D. The difference of that 1% is how much? 4% now goes to who? The first person, you. Okay? Once this person blocked you before, okay? Now you're skipping a generation and getting to earn on your fourth level, okay? C earned 1% on D because they only did 500. That 4% points comes up to you and goes on your royalty check. That 4% that goes on your royalty check, if you were at 800 and you earn, let's say 5% of 2,500 is it's $125. Okay, if you were at 900 points, and this was implemented, and the 4% rolled up to you, and you got 125 more points, you now got your very first month of what? Get Team. But now let's take a little bit more wild example, okay? This is you up here at the top. And you do your 2,500. A did 2,500. On your first level, you always earn how much? 5%. B did 2,500. You always earn how much? 5%. Okay? C did 500. Okay? You get to earn how much? 5%. But because of C doing 500, what do you get to do now? Start going down to the first three people that hit 2,500. D did 500. C earned how much on D? 1%. The difference of that is how much? 4% goes to who? You. E did 500. D earned how much on E? The difference of 1 and 5 is how much? 4. 4 goes to who? You. E does 500. Okay? E did 500. D gets how much on E? 1%. 4% goes to you. F did 500. Okay? E earned how much on F? 1%. 4% goes to you. G does 500. He gets 1%. 4% goes to you. H down here does 10,000. Okay? G earned how much on H? 4%? In other words, that $400 goes to you. Now, watch how incredible this is. All right? Watch how incredible this is. First of all, under the normal marketing system, you would have earned 5%, 5%, 5%. C is over here doing 500, and you're looking down this line, and all of a sudden you got this person down here doing 10,000. And what's your feelings about C? Exactly. You become mean, nasty, irritable individuals that are dreaming at night that you should be getting the money because you're down there working with H. Notice that it ended at H, Hughes plan. Okay? And now what you got is you say, no problem, C, keep doing your 500, no problem. Now you love C, and guess what? C loves you.
because you're not bugging them anymore, okay? That's great, okay? Because before, you were either trying to get him to do more business, or you were in the process of trying to kill him some way, or to get him to bounce his check at the order department so that the volume could now you're in love with D, you're in love with E, you're in love with F, you're in love with G, and you really love H. Now, is that awesome or what? Is it retroactive for the last 15 years?
Wait for the last 5 minutes.
No, sorry, it isn't. Now, that does bring up a question, though. There are people that you pitched last month that you said that had to do 2,000 last month, 2,000 this month, okay? So anybody who's in that position, we don't want to change gears on them. So if they did 2,000 their first month last month, they can do 2,000 this month because that's the way you pitched them. We don't want to change your pitch and make liars out of you. Okay, so they got a free. But starting June 1st, everybody has to do 2,500 2 months in a row with 1,000 unencumbered. Okay, this show will continue to repeat all month long on HBN, so everybody can get clear on it. There's a mailer that's going out everywhere to every single supervisor that's going to get it, and everybody will be getting it probably in about a week. And in Europe, you'll probably get it right around the 6th of the month. Okay, and so it's 2,500 also to get your royalty checks July 15th. Now here's about what we've been able to assess what's going to happen. Okay, as a result of this marketing plan change, okay? Between the roll-ups and the extra volume that will be done, okay? But we figured out that there's around 200 to 300 from this program that will immediately in July, go to the GET team. Immediately, okay? About 200 to 300 are going to go from World to GET. Now you could just imagine your World team members that have been sweating trying to get to GET team, what this is going to do for their attitudes, okay? And I told you when we did the meetings and I told you when we did the broadcasts that in some cases this wasn't going to make huge amounts of differences for people. You know, in some of your guys' checks this is going to mean a $200 difference. But the $200 difference, if it gets them on the GET team, makes a big difference, okay? So we're going to have about 200 to 300 new attitudes running around the company. Quick, okay? We've looked at it, and it looks like there's about 100 people that will immediately go to the GET team, to the Millionaire team. First month. And what is the first month? The worst month. Because it's always the worst the first month that happens. And it looks like immediately there's going to be somewhere between 30 to 50 people that go from Millionaire to GET team. Most of you are sitting in this room. The President's team. Millionaire to President's team. You'll go, for sure. You could just imagine what's going to happen in the company with 30 to 50 all at one time going to the President's team. What's going to happen to this company? That's never happened in the history of the business, period. Okay? And when that happens, trust me, there's going to be some serious new attitude in the company. Okay? And there's also going to be a whole lot of more excitement, and there's also going to be a lot more people that instantly
get interested in training their organization at all levels, okay? And that's going to help the company more than most of the stuff that we're even talking about. Doing more work, okay, to make more money, okay? And we're going to be talking a lot about that concept. Now, also what's going to come along with this so that you don't get confused, okay, is a royalty roll-up statement, okay? You can't see this very well, but what will happen here is you'll get your regular statement, okay? And then another statement that comes and it says, here's John Doe. He's on your 5th level. He did 800 points. He earned 2%, okay, and you got 3%, and that's your roll-up money, okay? Here's Jane Seymour. She's on your 25th level, okay? And she did 500 points, and you got 4% off of her points, and she's on this level. This will not only give you guys very good information on what your different levels will do, but it also will give you who you ought to really go after and try to get up and get some more business going, okay? So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen from this statement. Then you'll get a summary statement here. Like this person here, we took their royalty statement, okay? This says that their royalty override, this is an actual person's check, but we're not going to tell you who it is. Their royalty check was 1,275 points, and their roll-up money, okay, is listed separately so that they know what's happening with the new marketing plan, was $929. So they went from $1,275 to $2,200 the first month. That didn't include one thing, though. That was only the free money. It didn't include taking the 2,000 points, everybody on the statement that did 2,000 points, and make them do 2,500, which is another sum of money, which might have got them very close to their first month of Millionaire Team, okay? And then what happens is, this is not even counting what's going to happen on our production bonuses, okay? You guys getting this? Hey, this is serious, okay? And the worst part of this is going to happen next month. Okay? And we're talking about 200 to 300 new gets, 100 new mills, 30 to 50 new pres. Now, if we take the information we learned here this weekend, and we all went to work during the month of June, then we'd really see some action. Okay? We wouldn't see a lousy 300 people going from world to get. If we all went to work and went crazy and went bananas, okay, we could get it to 600 or 700 people that go to get in 1 month. And we could take it and go to 200 to 300 people on the Millionaire Team. And how about 100 people going to the President's Team in 1 month? How about that? So, let's talk. Yes.
All I can say is when the last marketing plan, by the way, my name's Amartat Cohen, and I'm from Denver, Colorado, right? And when the last marketing plan change went into effect, which was in 1992, I was on Millionaire Team, just barely hanging in there. And the next thing I knew, my check, which was about $5,000 at that point, went to over $15,000 the next month. So that's what happened to me. Incredible. And that was just the first month. And then 6 months later, I was making over $50,000 a month, and I was on the President's Team. So the first month was definitely the worst month. There's no doubt about that. Because it takes a few months, and everyone else starts seeing what's happening to their checks, and they start working harder, and the whole thing goes completely out of control. Anyway, my question is, Mark, what do we do with someone this month that does that's been pitched already and does only 2,000 points? That means he has to do what next month to qualify as a supervisor?
If you've pitched a person this month that's doing 2,000, then next month they do 2,000.
So the last time that a person can do 2,000 points and be a supervisor is this month?
That's right.
Okay.
That's absolutely right. Good question. It wouldn't be fair at this point to do it any other way. You know, I mean, we could say, go ahead and change on the guy, but you guys have already pitched him on a particular deal. We can't back out on it now. So you've told them 2,000 2 months in a row. They do 2,000 this month, they can do 2,000 next month, okay? Starting the 1st of June, if you're going to start qualifying for supervisor, it's how much next month? 2,500 with how much unencumbered? 1,000. And the following month, 2,500 with 1,000 unencumbered, okay?
You said that the roll-up money goes to the next 3 people that do 2,500 volume. Is that correct?
Right.
So you get paid on your first 3?
You always get paid
on your first
5% on your first 3.
And then on everything until you hit the next 3 people that do 2,500.
Well, it depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
Okay? If the first 3 people that you hit did 2,500, you've already gone through the first 3. Okay? If each one of these guys do 2,000, each person that doesn't do 5%, you always get to skip down generations until you keep going until you hit the first 3 that do 2,500. Now, does that mean that you could go, you're at 2,500, this person does 500, you get how much? 5%. This person does 1,000, you get how much? 5%. This one does 2,500. 5%. Okay? Now, let's do another one. Okay? Let's do that one over. This guy does 2,000. You get, well, how much? This one does 1,000, you get how much? This one does 500. Okay? Then this one down here does 500. Okay? This one earned 1% on this one, so 4 goes up. That keeps rolling down. Let's say you go down another 8 generations, and you get the one person that hits 2,500. There's 1. Then let's say you got 3 more people of 500. You keep skipping down till you get to another 2,500. That's 2. Then it skips another 5 generations of 500, and you hit the 3rd one. Because listen to this here. Okay, you're thinking, how is this possible? Okay? Well, these 3 people are all going to earn 5%. Okay? So those 3 people, okay, those are the ones that you get stuck on. Okay? Anything else in between is all got a percentage that's got a difference. That difference continues to roll up. Okay? But you still get to pass a generation because there's all these people in between that aren't getting the money. It's got to go to the first 3 people upline that do 2,500. So it goes up. Everybody who does 2,500, the first 3 2,500s are always going to get the difference money. All the way down to the first 3 people that do 2,500, no matter where they're at. Goes up and down. It's amazing the way this thing works. I mean, truly amazing, okay? Now, teach it this way because it's very simple. If you start getting much more complicated than that, you're going to get into a lot of questions and answers that start becoming very difficult because of the difference between who earned on what person at what time, okay? I would keep it like this. Keep it simple to the questions that we've talked about here tonight and say, listen, don't worry. Just do this. Be friendly to everybody in your organization. Tell them all I love you. Let them do what they're going to do. And then remember, you're going to make money on everybody, all the way down to the first 3 people that hit the full volume requirement. And in the statement, we'll tell you
who you got it on all the way down, and you'll know exactly what happened. But what you're going to want to do is make sure that you work first line, so you go down line as deep as it can possibly go, and now you don't not only get to do that the first month, you can do that every month. For how long? Ever. I want you guys to dream, just this, okay? All you got to think about is the first 3 levels, you earn 5%. If anybody in there on the 3 levels does less than 2,500, you get to start skipping down. Anybody that you skip down on, anything that they earn on percentage, the difference in the percentage rolls up to you, okay? Till you get to 3 people at 2,500, okay? Unless the first 3 people in line were 2,500, would you skip down? No. Would anything roll up? No. Okay, because the first 3 did 2,500. Okay, and with that, that's going to increase 2,500. You guys think about how many people you got doing 2,000. I know one thing for me. The biggest thing I'm thinking about is not so much all these different levels. Okay, all these different levels is great. All this different roll-up stuff, wonderful. Let me tell you what I'm thinking about. I got 20,000 people doing 2,000 a month, okay? Now, 20, I don't know about you, but when you got 20,000 people a month, that could go to $500 more a month, okay? Which equals $10 million next month. And that's the worst month. You get pretty excited. So what I'd be thinking about, okay, sure, the zeros are great, okay, sure, the roll-up's great, but what I'd be thinking about is we need to do some more business, okay, and we need to get to work like we've never gotten to work before in our entire lives. We need to pitch like we've never pitched in our entire life. We need to act like we've never acted in our entire life. We need to go like we've never gone in our entire life. Because here's one of the things we've got going for ourselves. First of all, this marketing plan is going to make a change in a lot of people's checks July 15th. Now, some of those are going to be $50 changes. To a guy that's doing $100, is a $50 change significant? Yes, okay? And you need to point out to them how significant that is. That's called a 50% increase in your royalty override check, okay? And if they have more business, just think of how it could affect their check, okay? So what you need to talk to them about is how exciting that $50 is, okay? And for the first, some of them are going to get $200 increases, some of them are going to get $1,500 increases, and we're going to have people that have $5,000 increases, and we're going to have people that have $8,000 increases, and this doesn't even include the production bonuses, okay? And this doesn't include the 500 points more we're talking about where we're going to make our real money. So what we need to do, gang, we've got an opportunity here, a window of opportunity called that nobody else in the history of marketing has ever done this with their royalty system. So if there was ever a time to go, when would it be? Now, okay? Not next week, not next year, okay? Because let me tell you what needs to happen with this program. There's going to be a jump in the checks anyway, okay? That means you can run around, my check gone up as a result of the plan. Now, if we'll go to work, we can say, look how much it went up. It's really out of control. And then if we'll work harder than that the next month, we can say it's really unbelievable because now it's starting to kick in. And if we'll go ballistic in the next month and really go crazy, then we can say it's completely out of control. And then if we'll go absolutely bananas in the month of September and our checks get bigger, guess what the checks start doing to everybody? It starts waking your group up, okay? So what we got to concentrate on, okay, and this is what this whole deal is going to be about this weekend, is having us jumpstart the program. That means us going back to work like we've never gone to work in our entire life. It means going absolutely crazy with recruiting like we've never recruited in our entire life. It means pitching our downline like we've never pitched in our entire life. And it means us getting our check up quicker than we ever have in our life, so life will be easier. so that you can go looky, 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 so that your check matches the pitch, okay? And when your check matches the pitch, guess what happens to your organization that you guys have been out there going, go group, go group, go, okay? Right? Testimonials is what makes a business work. Everybody knows that, right? Okay, so we need to have skincare testimonials and make it a big point in the meeting for a lot of reasons. A, to sell the products. B, the more people that we start getting in this business, we want to make them feel comfortable as being a skincare person as much as we have been, for most of us, weight loss and nutrition people. Okay, those people got to feel comfortable when they're in the room, okay? So in Japan, we took a shot at it, and we did a 2 testimonial countdown. Write that down. A 2 testimonial countdown. It worked unbelievable, okay, is what took place. So we said, okay, everybody that's lost weight and had some really excellent results on the nutritional products, stand up, okay? And we did our little countdown, and they came up and told about all their weight loss and what had happened on the nutrition and all that. But just a little a tip here, okay? Especially for those of you who have more nutrition products, okay? Remember that the person that's sitting in the audience, they don't know anything except what they hear and what they see. So when we do these weight loss countdowns and they've seen a little bit of the weight loss product, and you talk a little bit about nutrition and they just say, I lost weight, you got to remember the person sitting in the audience a lot of times thinks that a lot of those things have happened with just 4 or 5 products, okay? So in the weight loss nutrition testimonials, if you've had a tremendous result with one of the targeted products, write this down, this is important. You have to specifically say what product it was that started getting you that result. Because the testimonials up in front of the room is what's selling the room. And remember, the room is basically naive except for what they hear and what they see. Okay? We got these cardiovascular products now. When you're up there telling your testimonial, you say, listen, I got on a weight loss product, and you got to tell the truth. Okay? But whatever the truth is, remember, make sure that you tell the truth. Okay? So that the person can not only hear what products you're using, but that more specifically that you sell the products that you're using. Write that down. Okay? And we got to teach our distributors how to tell those testimonials, because they're the ones that's doing 90% of the selling for us when we're doing our meetings. Okay? So we got to teach. The guy that's up in front of the room, they're just there for a little bit of time to tell them about the products, to get the testimonials up. They're not the important person in the room. The people that are important are the people in the room. They're the ones that set the attitude. They're the ones that set the momentum. They're the ones that are going to tell our testimonials. So we got to make sure our audiences are good. And that's going to happen in your training classes. So when you get back to your area, teach this, okay? You guys got to get it, but you got to teach it. And then write this down. Continue to teach it. People forget this stuff all the time. It's amazing to me how long you got a person in the business for 14 years and you still got to teach this stuff. Okay, they just start forgetting about what makes everything work. Now, the next thing is we did the skincare countdown. We made it specifically separate in the meeting, okay? So he said, now what we'd like to do is go to our skincare and, if you've got it, our cosmetics. And what was amazing, everybody felt different about the skincare business in a matter of 15 minutes, because we got the line of everybody, and then Billy and the group was over there making certain that everybody pulled up their before and after pictures. And we only brought up these before and after pictures, which were so unbelievable you couldn't imagine it. And I'm telling you something, there wasn't anybody sitting in that room that didn't feel different about what we had just doing that. And it was an amazing transition that happened in the room. So you're going to need to do a couple of meetings, first of all, to make certain that your group brings the pictures. Okay, the group brings the pictures. So when you go to this in your HOMs and your STSs, Specifically, you got a big group out there that's got some crazy, wild testimonials about our skincare and cosmetics. So I like these two-tiered countdowns because it puts the spotlight on those particular products. It makes everybody realize, wow, that stuff must be really hot. Wow, this must be a part of the business that's really making it happy. So by specifically making an issue of it in your business meeting, they're going to think it's hot, it's out of control, this is something they got to pay attention to, let's go, let's go. Okay, so I would put back in a two-tiered situation in there in my business meeting. Remember that the company is the same company it's always been, but we have to do some things slightly different as we become a bigger in a company that we want to get all the products out there that we need to have everybody be using our products from head to toe. Okay, because there's some products that we buy, okay, that we can only buy for certain amounts of money, that we can only mark those products up a certain amount of times to make certain that by the time you guys get your commissions, that the product's affordable to the customer. Write that down. We got to make certain that our products are competitive and affordable to the customer. And I know there's been sometimes, and the leadership's the one that's got to swallow this the most and make certain that everybody's excited about it. When we first put out here the fact that there was going to be some items that we didn't get full retail pay on, everybody was a little bit negative about that. We got to be excited about that because at least that person's going to use that product every single month, or they're going to buy someone else's product every single month. Does everybody get that? Okay, and if they're not buying that product from us, they're going to be using someone else's product every single month. Okay, if we want to be the company that we're really talking about, where we are the biggest in weight loss, and we are the biggest in nutrition, and we are the biggest in skincare, okay, and so on, we have to have these adjusted retail prices so that the product can be competitive for the person that's using it. Because that ultimately, if they just use it once, it's no good. Okay? What's important is that they use it every single month, day after day, month after month, year after year. That's called a stable business that you guys can get rich on and count on. This is what's important. No other company pays on this retail. The products that you have, thank goodness you are getting paid on retail. Every other company has this adjusted volume deal, okay, so that they can adjust their prices and stuff like that to get them to be competitive in the marketing plan, okay? We're the only ones that are paying on the full retail on most of the products. You guys know that? Don't get confused by those little marketing plan guys out there. They say they got 666 or 924 or 25, 30, 60. Hey, whatever it is, it doesn't come out to 555 on the retail and 246 on the retail through infinity all the way down the line. Nobody has this marketing plan. Nobody has this marketing plan. Nobody has this marketing plan. Don't even listen or get caught up with anybody who's got anything that they tell you about with another business, with another marketing plan, with another product, okay? You guys need to have tunnel vision the same way I got tunnel vision. Could you imagine somebody from another company trying to come and pitch me? It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. You know why it's never gonna happen? There's only one person that's gonna win in this argument. Okay? Guy's either going to join or he's going to feel so bad about his business after he leaves, it's going to be ridiculous. Okay? See, tunnel vision is what you want to have on your Herbalife business, and we pitch what we're doing, not what anybody else is doing. We don't even want to think about what anybody else is doing. We got plenty of stuff to do. In the business areas that we're in right now, we could still go to $10 billion a year with just what we've got in the markets, what we've got, okay? With our attitudes clear and pitching clear. And so we put out a little contest out there for everybody that was sticking to the plan. Remember the Mark Hughes plan? Talk to 10, get 10 first-line distributors every single month. Remember that? You guys learned that after all the leadership schools and stuff like that? How many of you have gotten 10 first-line distributors in a month? Okay, hands up. 10 in a month. I want everybody to look around for a second. 10 in a month. Look at this. Out of the chairman's class, we got about 20 people in here that got 10 a month. How many of you got 10 a month in the months of October, November, December? Really? We're having our biggest months ever, okay? And the majority of the people are not even doing the plan. If we had everybody in our company doing the plan, what would happen in the next 90 days would be unbelievable, because your people watch what you guys do. They're all busy. They all got the same problems you guys do. They got a big group. They got lots of people to manage. They got lots of people to talk to on the telephone. But they're still making the time of getting those, okay? And what's important is that when we have this time, when we're going to go back to our groups and we're going to say, here's what we've got, now's the time to act. Well, if you don't act, your people don't buy that deal very much. If you act, when you say, listen, you're supposed to act, your people will pay attention, they'll do it, their people will do it, and their people will do it, and it causes tremendous momentum. But almost everybody up here was one of the biggest things that they said. Write this in your notes. They're having fun. They're having fun. They're doing more stuff now than they were, okay? And they're getting more people in, and it's funner, okay? And the reason it's funner is you got lots of action going on. You always got less people complaining. Your attitude's always right. What's going on is always right in your mind. And it's a lot more fun, okay? If you're just sitting here idle month after month and you're not getting the deal going on, a couple of things happen, okay? And this is one thing you got to make sure that you understand. First of all, write this down. Work equals more money. Work equals more money. And I know in the kind of situations that some of us are in, that's not always true. Because we do work for a certain period of time, then some of the people underneath us start going up, and we start making more money doing less. Okay, and this is one of the areas it's very serious for you guys to get the comprehension on, that when your check is going up, that's when you should still make certain that you're working and doing the things first line, because at some point, it's going to level off. When the check keeps going up and your people underneath you are going up and up and up and up, at some point, it has to level off. And remember this, every single year, you're going to have so many people that drop out. Write that down. Every single year, you're going to have a certain amount of people that drop out. So here you are, you did all this business, now you got your people underneath you going up and up and up, your check's going up and up and up, you stop doing what you're supposed to be doing every month, you got people dropping out every single year, you got your people's people dropping out every single year, and you have to go flat at some point, or you're going to go down. That's the only couple of things that can happen if you keep out here month after month, year after year, doing nothing, okay? You got to, number one, earn the money that you get. Write that down. Then you got to work to keep the money that you get. And then if you want to make more, you got to work more to get more. This is a very simple concept. And I know sometimes people get, they for some reason they just don't get it. Listen, when your people are coming up underneath you, yes, that check's going up, but at some point it's got to flatten out. And at some point, if everybody doesn't get on the boogie wagon, it starts going down. So if you don't want to have any of that happen, it's a lot more fun if you just keep doing it every single month, so much every single month. Your people do so much every month. This is way you can keep your check going up every single month. Now, here's what's exciting about when your check's going up every single month. The people that you go show the business to, the percentages of people getting into the company, signing the application, breaking supervisor, and go to get team becomes faster. Write that down. Your percentages always increase when you got momentum going on. If you're only out here and you're sponsoring 1 or 2 people a month or 6 or 7 people a year, listen, the percentages of people going, wow, this is incredible, wow, this is unbelievable, let's get in, it's hot, let's go to the get team, are small. But when you're out here doing it all the time and you start getting momentum and it looks like everything's happening and your check's going every month, okay, people say it's going, it's happening, it's clear, I need to sign up, I need to get in now, I need to go to get team. So your percentages, write this down, increase when you have momentum. Write that down. That means it's actually easier when you're working harder. Because after every training class that you guys go to, no matter how many we go to, and we can teach you every single kind of method that there is. Everything as far as the business is concerned, as far as making more money, except for the little promotions that we put in here to get people excited and they do more and all that stuff. When you come down to the basics of the business, everything's about ring, ring. Now, when I say ring, ring, that means something that you're doing to talk to people, okay? No matter what it is. We can talk about all the methods all day long, but everything is a percentage of everything. So it doesn't make any difference what you do. What's important is that you clear on what you need to do. And what you need to do is talk to enough people every single day so you can get ring, ring going on. Because if you got ring, ring going on, you're going to talk to a certain amount of people that say yes, and a certain amount of people are going to join. First line. Then there's going to be a certain amount of the people that you sign up first line that are going to go to supervisor. And there's going to be a certain amount of people that go to supervisor, get with the deal and say, I'm going to get on to the world team. And a certain amount of the people that get to world team are going to go to the get team. And a certain amount of the people that get to get team are going to get to millionaire team. And a certain amount of the percentage of the people that get to millionaire team are going to go president's team. And all you got to do is keep doing this ring, ring, sponsor, sponsor, supervisor, supervisor. This will get you your 5 legs eventually to get to Chairman's Club. And that's all it is. Now, does it get boring sometimes? Yes. Can it be aggravating sometimes? No question about it. Okay? Can you get sick and tired of doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again? Sure. But it's kind of hard to get sick and tired of it when your check is going up every single month. Whether you like it or not, how you got your check up was you spent some amount of time in Herbalife where this is what you were doing. Ring, ring, talk, talk, answer, answer, first line, percentage of supervisors get meal pres. Isn't that right? Yeah. That's all you got to do. That's how you guys are making all your money right now. All you got to do to make more money than you're making right now is do it once again. Okay? And if you want to get the chairman's class, do it 3 times. Or 4 times, or 5 times, and you'll be on the chairman's class. That's all this business is right there. We can get into every little detail about what you're going to do and all that stuff. It's why you're going to do something that's more important. Why you're going to do something. Did you hear these guys, how they got up here and said that they had their thing in their office? What was the first thing they saw in their office? How many they got to do every single day. Okay? So think about this. Take a side to side. I know all of you guys are busy. I love this story. There was one of, I'm not going to say who this was, but we're having this little meeting, okay, in Italy. And I go, now you got your 10 in, right, for the month? He goes, oh, no, I only got 4. I said, what do you mean you only got 4? You got to make sure that your group sees that you're doing 10 so that they get the idea that it's important to get 10 so that they get 10 so their people gets 10. He says, I know, but you know, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this. But you know, when I kind of go to the meetings, I got this problem. I mean, I'm kind of like this. I don't want to say that I'm you. He was being real careful about this, okay? I don't want to say I'm you, but when I come to the meetings, it's like I get mobbed, man. There's 200 or 300 people around the room, and they want my autographs, and they're signing their pictures, and all this kind of stuff, and I just don't have time to get 10. I said, I understand. I understand that you're popular. This is real important, okay? And I understand that everybody's crazy for you at the meetings, okay? And I understand when you're there, everybody's, he's in the room and stuff like that. I said, could you imagine if all these 400 people that you're talking to me about right now that needed your picture and your autograph and your sign and all this stuff, if you were to say to them, could you imagine this? Excuse me, everybody, just for 10 minutes. I love you. I want to sign your autographs. I want to be here. I'll stay here. But you see those 10 people right over there? I got to go sign those people up first because that's how I'm getting rich. And he went out and he's going to be doing and he's doing incredible business since then. But that's the point. Could you imagine the best training that you could do for those 400 people? Would be to go do what you're supposed to do. And when you do what you're supposed to do, your people do what they're supposed to do. And when your people do what they're supposed to do, you make more money. So I know this is a very simple concept. All you got to do is get in the frame of mind and get started. That's the hardest part. From where you guys are at, the comfortability of where you're at, the schedules that are going on, the family things and all that. I understand all that. The hardest part is getting back to where you were at a certain point, where you had to do these things to make enough money. And I'm telling you, all you guys, I'm telling you right now, if we had this entire room do this for 4 lousy months, 4 lousy months, we've never hit this 2.1 billion. We'd sail right to $3 billion overnight. It would be amazing. Yeah. It would be amazing. I told this concept to everybody in Japan back at the beginning of the year, and nobody was buying it. Nobody was buying it. I said, now listen here, I'm telling you guys, if you don't keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's got to flatten out, and at some point, it's even going to start going down. But nobody was paying attention because they had had this momentum going for 5 straight years where every single month their check's going up and going up and up and up, and they figure, hey, the heck with everything, it's just going to keep going up. And it wasn't until November when I came back and it had been pretty much flat, not completely flat for most of the year, that I did the same presentation, okay? I did the same presentation in November that I did back at the beginning of the year. The only difference was everybody was in the frame of mind of listening to me again because it had been flat all year long. And everybody just said, you know what, all we got to do is go back to work and do what he's saying, and it'll be unbelievable in Japan again. It's got nothing to do with the economy. It's got nothing to do with the lousy things that everybody's talking about. It means work, get more money. And that's what Japan did. Everybody just went back to one month of going crazy and having everybody sponsor again. 10 million more that next month. 18 million the next month. And I'm proud of what happened in Japan. So now I'm saying, listen, we had a situation here in America, we were number 1. A number of months back, Japan beat us. Then about, I think it was March of this year, we started beating Japan. Don't get too excited. Now Japan is beating America again. Yes, now Japan is beating America again. Are you guys going to stand for that? Are us Americans going to stand for that? Well, then let's go for the next 4 months, okay? And show them what can happen in America. Come on. A little friendly competition's never bad, yeah. Doesn't this make sense? Go like this. All right? Okay, we've got lots of things here to cover here today. I just want to this is the nuts and bolts, what I just showed you. I was trying to think here, you know, what has been the major thing for Mark Hughes, okay? And, you know, my guys said, you know, put something on him, man. Put something seriously out there. And I tried to think to myself, what has been the very biggest thing in the world, okay, that's really made Mark Hughes move, okay? And I would say that the number one thing that has made Mark Hughes what he is, who he is, and what he continues to be, and what he's going to continue being, okay, is my complete passion for helping people. Seriously. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. Now, a lot of you have heard about the overdose of my mom, okay, and that was certainly a serious driving force for me wanting to help people lose weight, okay, but a lot of it also has to do with my upbringing, okay. My mom was in a serious situation when I grew up. I had a stepfather that was, not going to get into too many details about it or I'd be lying on the couch over here, okay, but was a very mean person, okay, very mean to me, very mean to my mom. She was treated in a very horrible way as we were growing up. And from a very early on age, by the time I was about 9, I was taking care of my mom constantly, okay, getting her out of trouble, protecting him from the bad person that was in the house. And I was made to stay home at school many times to make sure that the house was clean and the cooking was done and everything was straightened out, and protecting her from him to make sure that she wasn't going to get hurt and stuff like that. And so I think a lot of my instincts, just from the time I was a small kid, has been to want to help people, okay? And a lot of it came, you know, from the time I was 9 to then her having a drug overdose. And it just drives me, okay, to want to have the passion for people to lose weight, having my passion of wanting people to be able to be financially free. And that goes deep inside of me, okay, very deep inside of me. And it started when I was a small kid, and it's what drives me today. And it's the number one thing that keeps me going. And I think a lot of people feel that passion. You know, so many times people say to me, man, I met the guy for 2 minutes, you know, up on the stage. I feel like I've known him for the last 14 years. And I got a lot of that from my grandfather. My grandfather was that kind of guy. And he was a wonderful man, the greatest man that ever walked on the face of the earth. And he was the kind of guy that would put his arms around you the minute he met you. And he was unbelievable. And I get that from him, and I think a lot of people feel that from me when they meet Mark Hughes. But if you can pick up any of that passion, okay, you'll move mountains. Be unbelievable things that you can do. I mean, where I've come from and the area that I grew up in and what's happened in my life has been amazing. And what's going to happen in the future for me and what's going to be the future for you guys is going to be absolutely, truly incredible is what's going to happen for all of us, okay? And if you pick up the passion like me, it's going to just be overwhelming. The passion for the products, but it's not just what the products, it's what the products do for people, okay? And it's the marketing plan of the century, but it's not the marketing plan. It's what the marketing plan do for people, okay? And if you can have the passion for the products and the people, okay, and you can have the passion for the people, I'm telling you something, it'll be unbelievable. If you care about your people, okay, anywhere near the way I care about all you guys, okay, it would be unbelievable. You know, sometimes, you know, it really bothers me when sometimes people say, you know, that they're looking at the marketing plan and they're getting upset because some of their people are moving up and they're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to get cut off because one of my guys is getting up here to the top. That's bad thinking. That's bad thinking. There's some kind of myth that goes on about multi-level, which is stupid, okay? Somebody gets you the pitch, okay, that here you sign up one person, you retire forever. Hey, that's not the way it worked for me. Okay, well, I've learned you work every single day, you get paid more. You work forever, you keep making more money. You keep having the passion, you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, you keep working, you keep getting rich. Keep working harder, you keep getting richer. That's what it's supposed to be. Work. What a concept. And you guys got to remember something, okay? You may have helped a guy get up to a certain stage, but you didn't take this guy from millionaire to president's team. Let's get serious, okay? The person took himself from millionaire team to president's team. They worked like crazy. And guess what was happening during that time? You were getting rich for free. And you got to remember that, okay? Your person's moving the ladder up, and what's happening is you got a lot of free money coming into your bank account. You need to thank goodness, okay, for what's happening to your bank account as a result of your people moving up, and then you'll get back in the 1% bonus. It's stinking thinking to be thinking about your people getting up to the top. You want your people to get up to the top. Man, I was so happy when I put that pin into Marcus's chest yesterday, and Hida-san, okay? I want to put all the pins in your guys' chest. Did you see those 40 President's team members up here today? Putting those pins in their chest? Let me put all the pins in your guys' chest. Huh. It's so good to have a really expensive jacket on, too. A really expensive one from Battaglia. You know, $4,000 suit. Punch a hole in it. Yeah, looks good. Looks even better in a tuxedo where you got the satin where it makes a permanent indent. Boom. So I would say that was my number one thing, is my passion for what's happening. And my passion is just getting so big. I'm telling you, what's going to happen to us in the future is just going to be absolutely overwhelming. Here's number two, attitude. Attitude's great when everything's going great. Of course, it's easy to have a good attitude then. When you got to have a good attitude is when things are not going good. When things are going bad. I can remember back in the beginning, I talk about Don Grano all the time. Don Grano was my best guy, okay? And, first month, 6,000, second month, 12,000, third month, 18,000. I was counting on this guy to make things happen. Boom, he's out of the business. Okay, and along with it, what happened? All the people went with him. Okay, and what happened to my meetings? Went from 60 down to 20. Okay, how did you think I felt back at that time when we didn't have any literature, we didn't have any journals, we didn't have nothing going on? Okay, we had just a couple of bottles, okay, and my only guy that I was counting on to really make things happen left. How do you think Mark Hughes really felt? Terrible. Put in your notes. I felt bad. Now, I've signed the guy up 3 times, and I felt bad all 3 times. I'm telling you, I'm going to get him a 4th time one of these days. He's going to be... One of these days, I don't know how many times it's going to take us, but we're going to get them sometime. The last couple of years with myself and my wife, been a very bad situation for me, okay? And nobody knew it. Any of you guys know it? No. Because I'll tell you something. When you got to keep your attitude up, okay? And when you're king, the king can't let the attitude out, okay? The king can't ever let his feelings show that things are going bad or going rough, or having a bad day, or having a bad marriage, or having a bad time, or what's going on. The king can't show that stuff. And you know what? You guys are the kings and queens of your areas. And you can't let it show either. Because people are counting on the way you feel every single morning about what you're doing, about the products and the marketing plan, and what kind of bad press is going on, or what kind of rumors are happening, or whatever's going on. They're counting on your attitude. And you guys better have the answers and the solution. And I'm not saying that you may not have a problem that you got to face. You got a bad article that comes out. You say, hey, listen, yeah, here's a bad article, but let me tell you what we're going to do about it. We're going to work twice as hard, and we're going to put on 2 mini buttons. We're going to take twice as many tablets. We're going to get out here, and we're going to work like crazy. I've taken good care of my employees, I've taken good care of my distributors, and I've taken good care of all 3 of my wives. I gotta have a lot of passion for this business the way I'm going. Now, unbelievable is right. Now, just real quickly, here it's number 3, because I got to cover a couple basic things with you, or I wouldn't be, we'd be leaving things out. Here's the first thing here, and John Peterson covered this, and that's 10 people a month. I did 20 a month when I got started. I led the pack. But 10 people every single month, first line. And here's the best thing that you need to get going. If you guys will concentrate, okay, if this is you, okay, if you'll concentrate on getting your first level and your second level and your third level, and then you go down deep to your 4th, 5th, and 6th, and get these guys all making 2,500 in volume points, okay? So everybody got this? Okay, here's what happens, okay? If this guy does 2,500, 5% of that, write it down in your notes, is $125. Your second guy, if there's doing 2,500, that's another $125. Now, this is very important what I'm teaching you. You do this, you're going to get seriously rich. This is the basics. Your third guy over here, if he's doing 2,500, that's another $125. That means you up here, you're getting $375. And if you've concentrated on your 4th, your 5th, and your 6th, and you got these guys doing their 2,500, here's what's going to happen. Your first guy's going to get 375. Your second level's going to get 375. Your third level's going to get 375. So you're guaranteed that this is working. The worst thing that can happen now is they all drop out and these 3 guys come up and you're still making the same $375 you were before. Now that will make you rich. Now, did you guys get that? All that's got to happen is you get 10 of those, and that's called $3,750 on your royalty override check. You're almost a millionaire team member. Now, if only 2 out of the 10, write that down, $3,750. If only 2 out of the 10 become millionaire team members, that's going to be another $6,000 that you're going to be earning in royalties minimum. They're at $4,000. You usually get 75% of what they do. So that's $6,000. So that's almost $100,000 a year right there on your 3 levels. Now, how many people in this room make twice on their infinite what they do on their 3 levels? Raise your hands. If you're making twice on your infinite level what you make on your 3 levels, get your hands up in the air. Okay? So if you had 10 first lines and only 2 of them get the millionaire team, okay, that's $200,000 a year in income by just doing that. So what do you concentrate on? Getting 10 first line every single month, okay? And then concentrate on going down line so you can make this happening with 2,500, okay? And it all happens. But it happens with the beginning of getting those first lines. Now here's the next thing I did that I had to master. And all you guys got to learn how to do it too, and that's meetings. You got to get up and do meetings. Every single person in the room, you guys got to learn how to do meetings. If you're not doing meetings, you got to know how to do meetings. Period. Okay? That means you guys. Every one of you guys in the back, all you girls in the back, you got to get up and do meetings. Do the products, do the marketing plan, do the close, the whole thing. You got to know how to do it all. Okay? If you want to get up here and get like me, you want to get like the Chairman's Club members down here, you want to get like the President's team members, okay? And all know how to do meetings, okay? And so you got to know how to do the meetings. We're not going to go through what's happening in the meetings. You guys know what to do, okay? Here's what you do to do a meeting. Do one. You know what? Do one, okay? And then if you don't do it so good, do another one. And if you don't do it so good, do another one. Trust me, you'll get good at it if you do it enough times. You won't keep getting up there and being a flop, trust me. You'll do it better and better and better. You got to learn how to do trainings. If you don't know how to do a training, easy. Go to one of the trainings, listen, learn, and then do one. Listen, learn, and then do one. See, you don't really got it in your mind until you're doing one. Okay? You're listening to it, you're absorbing it, okay? But it's going in one ear and out the other until you got to get up there and actually say the stuff. When you say it, you're going to know it. You can't just be going out here doing all this stuff. You got to do it. Okay? You got to do it. And there's nobody in the room that can't do it. You can all do it. Hey, if I can do it, you guys can do it. And I didn't have a sponsor. Nobody got me after the meeting and said, do this a little better. Didn't work like that. Okay? So you guys, the speakers that we got now, okay, all of you got to do it. But we got incredible speakers today. So all you got to do is go to one of these STSs and learn from the incredible speakers that we got today, and you're going to be incredible faster than we ever did. Why? Because our people are good. I mean, I wasn't very good when we started these meetings. Here's the products. Here's the marketing plan. Good night. I mean, they were quick. We used to have that. I remember the big card? I had this great big card, for those of you that haven't heard this story. Okay, and it had these stupid little clips on it, and they'd fall apart every time you took the card. The first card had, "Welcome to my family." What a stupid deal that was. I would have walked out of the room the moment I said that. Man, when I think about some of those old meetings. Okay, here's the fourth thing you got to do. Duplicate. You got to show your people how to retail. Write these things down. I'm giving you the stuff that got me rich. You got to teach them how to recruit. You got to teach them how to do a meeting. You got to get them and show them how to do a training. You got to get them and you got to show them how to do conference calls. You got to show them how to do an organizational meeting. And then we'll take over from there and help them get to the corporate schools. And then I'll make sure that they know how to do the chairman's classes, the extravaganzas, and the summit. And I'll do that for you. Here's number 5, commitment. And here's the only thing I can tell you about commitment. You're going to have to sit your family down and talk about your commitment. You're going to have to get the whole family bought in on the program. Okay? It's been part of my problem. Okay? There was commitments in the beginning, but the commitments fell apart. So you may have to continue to keep talking about what the commitment's going to be. Because part of my problem was when the company went public, I made a serious amount of money. And for some reason, people in my family thought that I was not going to have to go out there and work anymore. But they didn't realize that this wasn't just an act up here on stage. This is not an act. This is what I do. So you're going to have to get an agreement with your family here, okay? And everybody's going to have to buy in on it and discuss it and agree. You're going to work this much. You're going to play this much. This is what it's going to mean if you do this. Okay, if I work this hard, here's what we might get. Okay, and keep your commitments. Okay, and that may have to be refined from the day you start to the time you can become a GET team member. It may have to be refined. And when you become a millionaire team member, it may have to be refined. And when you get to the president's team, it may have to be refined. And then when your spouse sits there looking at you as the president's team member, and your burning desire is to go for chairman's club, okay, and they're getting on your nerves because they don't want you working like crazy to get to the chairman's club, okay, you're going to have one of those little sweet talks. These have been my experiences. Here's the first thing you guys get, okay? Here's the first thing you guys get when you get going, okay? You do everything that you can to make yourself look more impressive to your group so you match the pitch. So here's what I did. The first thing I did was I bought some new clothes. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that the greatest place? But it was the greatest place I could get that would make me look the best so that what I was pitching would match with the clothes I was wearing. You got it? So for those of you brand new, I remember Jerry, we sent her down to the Goodwill store, and she bought her silk dress for $2 to make herself look better at the meetings that she was given. Okay? So it may have to start way down at the bottom. We didn't get this way by being what you're seeing here today. Okay? This thing started out with a little white jacket and those little black pants. Okay? Okay? And then from there, I got my first car. I'll never forget driving up in that El Dorado. Remember that? And then it made everybody sniff the seats. Seriously, I brought all my supervisors in and I said, sniff the seats, man. This leather is cool, baby. Then the next thing I did was I got a better apartment. A better apartment. Okay? Wasn't a house, it was an apartment. A better apartment. That's where I started. A better apartment. Then I got my very first condo. Never forget my very first condo. Smaller than my bathroom at Gray Hall. Seriously. Can you believe that? Wait till you see my bathroom. It's unbelievable. Okay? And then you may decide you want an office, and then you go for your very first house, and then maybe you go for your first mansion, and then maybe you're getting your holiday house. I know what happened to me. Okay, this is what I used to look like. It's me going to an organizational meeting back in 1980. If we can bring that up. And that was my new clothes. I know, I look just like Paco. You got it all wrong. Paco looked just like me. And there I was, okay, and I went from that, and I had my very first office. You guys have seen that, okay? Got my little dinky, raggedy old office. There's Frank Lutz putting the number up on the building. Look at Frank Lutz. He was our businessman. He was our top guy. He was a real estate person. Look at him. He looks so corny. Of course, I went from that to now we got the new building. I bought my house in my dreams in 1985, right when the FDA dropped the atomic bomb on us. I bought it the month before that. I bought my house in Maui, okay? Get that up. Then I got myself a little beach house, okay, so I can get away from Beverly Hills, okay, down in Malibu down there, okay. Right next door there is the Reiners, okay, that produce all the movies. We got all the movie stars live right around me, okay. It's unbelievable. Everybody lives right down there, okay. Stallone's got his place down there. Everybody's got their house down there, okay. And then of course I got Gray Hall, okay. And wait till you guys see Gray Hall tonight. You're not going to believe it. I got the 4,000 square foot guest house next door done, and you ain't going to believe it. It looks unbelievable. Okay, you guys, that's where you're going to walk through first tonight. You're going to go through the guest house, okay, first, then you go over to the main house. And, of course, then I stepped up to the plate and got my boat. Got my boat going. And this year, since nobody was buying me Christmas presents, I bought myself a Christmas present, and I got a helicopter from the back of my boat. This is the way it looks right now. They only come in black and red. It's being painted right now white with the gold stripes on it, so it's got the Shamwari name on it and stuff like that. It'd be called Shamwari 2, okay, with 7342 MH on it. You're not going to believe how much cooler this boat's going to look with a helicopter on the back. Okay, here's number 8. Get everyone doing everything for you. Get everybody doing everything for you. I don't do anything. You got to get everybody doing everything for you. You got to get maids for your houses so you're not making your beds. You don't do this stuff big in the beginning, okay? I had a maid that came in twice a week. But I figured in the twice a week she was cleaning my house, I could go out and sell me a couple of programs and I was making up the money, okay? And so you figure this stuff out. But you got to get yourself a maid. You got to get someone cleaning your cars. You got to get someone doing your lawn. Eventually you'll be getting your secretary. But let me tell you something. There's only one way I can keep getting all the stuff done that I do. I got everybody doing everything for me. I give lots of instructions. Go do. Okay? I get a thought, go do this. Get a thought, go do that. Get another thought, go do this. Okay? It's impossible to run an organization of the amount of distributors that we got, with the hundreds of thousands of people that we got, with the thousands of employees that we got, and all the languages that we got, without me just coming up with a lot of thoughts and then saying, go do. And here's what you got to do when you say go do. Write this down. You got to be prepared for some people to not do it exactly the way you would want it done. Then you got to tell them to do it again, and then you got to tell them to do it again, and then tell them to do it again, and tell them to get them to do it again until they do it the way you want it done. But you got to take some chances on some people, or you're going to get so tied up doing everything yourself that you're not going to have any time to duplicate. And duplicate is what it's all about. You got to have lots of little Mark Hugheses running around. You got to have lots of little Alan Lorenzes running around. You got to have lots of little yous running all over the place. Okay? And the rest of the little stuff that's happening in your life that clutters up your life, okay, like your beds and your dishes and your cars and your lawns and all that stuff, okay, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. You can't be having your wife do your dishes. Send her out and sell some product. That's right. Well, what am I going to do if I'm not doing the dishes? You're going to go and hand out some flyers. That's what you're going to do. Okay, here's number 9. Nine. Trust me. Dealing with adversity. With bad press, supervisors falling out, your distributors going sideways on you. Here's all I know what to do. You work hard when it's easy, and you work twice as hard when it's not easy. That's all I know what to do. Doesn't sound like real big advice, okay, but that's what I did. When the FDA happening, let me tell you something. I was working harder than I've ever worked in my entire life. I was working the FDA problems. I was working the meeting problems. I was working the adversity problems. I was working the television problems. I was working like crazy. So what do you do to overcome adversity? You work twice as hard. That's what you do. You get out and you make it happen. Number 10, personal growth. I'm not any big speaker like Jim Rohn. I don't know how to talk to you about personal growth. Here's all I know is practice makes perfect. You listen, you learn, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, you try till you get better, you try till you get perfect, and then you try again until you're better than that. And then the last one is you never get satisfied with how good you are. You're always better the next time. That's all I know about personal growth. There's not a meeting that we're going to do that's not going to be better than the next one. Isn't this the best summit you've ever been to? Huh? Huh? But trust me, the next one's going to be unbelievable. Because there's not ever going to be a meeting where we're satisfied enough. They're always going to be better, and we're always going to be doing it more incredible, and it's going to be always unbelievable than the last one. That's the way it's got to be if you want personal growth. That's all I know about personal growth. It's got to be better. That's all I know. Got to be better than the last one. You got to stretch your mind sometimes to be better than the last one. We had Rod Stewart here the other night. What are we going to do next? I don't know. I got to tell you this. It's going to be a lot better than Rod. And he wasn't chopped liver. Here's number 11. Setting goals. I can't tell you big speeches about setting goals. Here's the only thing I know about setting goals. Going after things that you cannot live without. Period. There's only 2 mountains in Beverly Hills. I bought one of them, and Paul Allen from Microsoft bought the other one. Mine's bigger. By 53 acres, by the way, too. And not only that, I paid a lot less for it than he did. Here's number 12. How do I get things done that I don't know how to do? How do I get the products done? How do I get Herbalife done? How do I get these videos done? How do I keep getting these countries open? Here's what I do. I get people that know how to do it better than I do. And I get them, and I convince them that the greatest thing that's ever happened to them in their entire life is meeting Mark Hughes and being with Herbalife. And let me tell you what it is. It always is. When I laid that deal on Dr. Katz, and I only met the guy 2 weeks before we were walking into that Senate building, and I said, let me tell you something, pal. If you get together with me, Mark Hughes, okay, the guy that they're writing bad press about, it'll be the best thing that ever happened to you. And it was. And that's what I do. I get people around me that are better than me. I looked at Dick Marconi. I said, if you get together with me, pal, I'm telling you something, it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And guess what? Listen, Dick had a lot of customers. Guess who his biggest customer is? Me. You. Us. And here's how I did it. I was never stingy with my money. I've always been good to my people, and they've been good back to me. And that's the way it works. I get better people than I am. I pay them good. I'm not stingy with the money in my pocket. I care exactly what's going to happen to them and their families. I have a lot of passion about what's going to happen to them, and it ends up being a good deal for everybody. And that's how it is for all of my employees, and that's how it's worked out for all of you. And there's only one thing I can guarantee you, it's going to get a lot better. People have asked me all the time, how do you get this incredible team like this working around you? Okay? You got your people working like crazy. I've never seen anybody work the way your people work. And it's not just here, okay? It's the people back there. I mean, the people that put this up. Okay, look at all this stuff that's happening here. The videos, the set, the lights. My people work like crazy for one reason. Write this down. I work like crazy. I work like crazy. I work like crazy, and my people work like crazy. That's how I get them to work. I don't know any other answer than that. Okay? Because there isn't any other reason that it's happening. Sure, I pay good, but pay isn't enough after a while. You know what I'm saying? There's purpose to what's happening. Okay? And I got that purpose, and they get that purpose, and we just drive each other. And it's only going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's the only answer I got. I know it doesn't sound like brilliant answers, okay? But this is what the truth is from Mark Hughes. Okay? And it's happening big time for Mark Hughes. Okay? Here's number 14. How do you get your distributors to respect you? You got to say what you're going to do, and then you got to keep your word on it. And there's nothing I haven't kept my word on in this company unless it's been some law or some regulation that's made it not work. Always, every single time, if we tell you guys something's going to happen, it happens. If Mark tells you it's going to happen, it happens. And that's how you get your people to respect you and love you and follow you. It's the same way I have to do with my little kid. I can't be around Alex all the time. I leave Alex sometimes. But it's fine. Alex understands. I tell Alex, here's the deal, man. I said, listen, Daddy's got to go away for 6 or 7 days. But when Daddy gets back, Daddy's going to play with you every single day for 3 or 4 days straight, and we're going to have so much fun, it's going to be unbelievable. And as long as I do that with Alex when I get back, okay, Alex doesn't mind when I go away. He used to cry like crazy when I would go out of the house. He doesn't cry any longer because he knows Daddy's going to be back, and when Daddy's back, we play like crazy, and we love each other like crazy, and we go out in the mountains and we do stuff together, okay? And as long as that happens with you and your group will love you guys forever. Here's number 14. A lot of people have asked me what I do with my cash. Other than my cars, my house, and land that I've done, here's one thing I don't do. I don't put anything, my money into that I have to manage. If I got to think about it, if I got to look at it, I'm not putting my money in it. Here's the second thing I don't do. I don't put my money into anything that counts on what other people are going to do. Okay? I do 2 things. I have 10% of my money put into the top 5 Dow stocks, okay? The top 5 Dow stocks, okay, which have had an average return of 18 to 30%. The rest of everything is locked up in tax-free bonds, okay? It's not the most aggressive investment strategy. A lot of people have told me, you're out of your mind, why don't you buy some buildings? Why don't you buy some of this? Why don't you buy some of that? Let me tell you why I don't buy some buildings. Because you got to think about the buildings. You got to manage the people that are in the building. You got to think about the bills being paid. You got to be thinking about stuff. If I think 10%, okay, of my time about where my money's at, I'm losing millions over here at Herbalife. You don't have to follow this plan. I'm just telling you, I'm worth a couple bucks, and this is what I've done. Here's number 15, and that's building the Herbalife dream. I truly do want to make this the best company. I truly do want to make this the biggest company, and we truly are going to take Herbalife completely around the entire world. We are going to do that. We are going to do that.